You have returned to the Overwatch Pacific Championship. We are in the final match of the regular season. The last one. I don't even know what else to say about it. I mean, it feels like the end of a bit of a journey.
It kind of does. Like I'm almost getting a little bit teary-eyed. You know, this has been an intense 11 weeks for all of these teams, and comes to a close here and now. Flash Wolves, they open this tournament. They're going to close it.
Absolutely. The first team we're going to be looking at here is going to be the Flash Wolves. So far, the table toppers of the tournament, looking absolutely unbeatable. Their hardest challenge that we sort of was remaining in the competition this final weekend was Hong Kong Attitude, and even that was a 3-0 victory for Flash Wolves. And now going up against DeToNator, who just lost to Sun Sister, things are not looking good for the Japanese side.
I just want to clarify, when AVRL says table toppers, he means they're currently topping the leaderboard. He doesn't mean they play Warhammer. Huh. Though maybe they do.
You don't know that. You do not know.
DeToNator! Eventually DeToNator.
Don't claim to know what they do or do not play, but you would.
Maybe they do play Warhammer. Yeah. Here we go. This is DeToNator.
Hey, you can be a table topper and just play card games, right? Just so we're clear on that one.
I guess it counts, but like when you say like tabletop gaming, I think like I don't know. I think of Warhammer. Welcome DeToNator.
Well, there it is. We're going to get a few thoughts from both sides as well. Before the match starts, we're going to have Coach Ray on the left and Dotolov on the right, and I'll be translating this one over.
今天是例行赛最后一场。
So today is the last match.
下礼拜开始就是季后赛。
And next week is the playoffs.
我们因为目前战绩第一，所以我们有多了一个礼拜。
We're looking to get number one, so we're looking to prepare hard this week.
希望各位观众到时候能够都来现场，然后。
We hope everyone can watch the playoffs match.
好，希望喜欢闪电狼的粉丝们一定都要来现场来帮他们加油呢。那要来访问到的是 Dotolov. Do you have anything to say to your fans?
最後のシーズンの試合となりますが、これ最後と思わないでください。頑張ります。
哦，他说不要以为这季结束之后就不会再见到他们喽。
Don't think you're not going to see us again.
下个赛季我们一定还会再相见。
We're definitely going to make it through the relegation and come back next season looking strong.
谢谢两位代表 ，Thank you.
Bold calls, man. Confident Dotolov, and I think it's a fairly placed confidence. You know, they are certainly a team that I feel can survive relegations, make their way back in, but after their most recent loss just now to Sun Sister, it's thrown a little bit more into question. It's a little bit of a harder ask than it was a moment ago.
That does look like Sun Sister really stepping up to me, because DeToNator still did shine through, at least on the Volskaya map, which, you know, they were heavily favored on that.
Oh boy.
So, I mean, the DeToNator that we do know is still there, but Sun Sister stepped up. DeToNator, they were the same team. And DeToNator still being the same team, that doesn't say well to their ability against Flash Wolves. However, going to the relegations, I would still like to say they would be one of the more favored teams that we know of anyway.
Yeah, certainly feels to be the case a little bit. And one of the things that still hangs over this is we just don't know who we're going to be seeing in relegations. That's the other reality going on here. We don't know what sort of teams are going to be in the mix. There will be, I guarantee, teams over this last 11 weeks that have set their sights on this and go, I want to do that. And they will jump at the chance to do that. There are sister teams out there for some of the teams already in the tournament. They're going to try and vie for their spot. DeToNator have a sister team who are going to vie for a spot.
Yeah, you've got to play against your own sister team, which is crazy.
Yeah, a team that you've probably scrimmed as well, given that they're your sister team. So it's going to be interesting just to see what kind of teams come into that and what teams DeToNator and Sun Sister have to face. And the reality is, the only predictions we can make are based off what we see out of DeToNator and Sun Sister. We can't really go anything beyond that. I mean, it's all just extrapolation, and it's going to make for exciting gameplay because of how many unknowns there are.
Absolutely. There's going to be 6 entirely new teams that, for the most part, people will have never seen. Totally new teams on the international scene.
Here's
but
teams
for
you have
2
seen.
teams exactly that we do know of, it's been Flash Wolves and it has been DeToNator as well. Like we said previously, final match, not just of the evening, not just of the week, but of the entire regular season. So here it is. It all comes down to the final one. This is the send-off game.
It is. This is the last.
Jongy's getting ready. He's already feeling like
he's doing the Winston dance.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Not bad, but you can't see his legs.
It's hard to do it in the chair. So like, I'll give him credit there.
Half the dance is the leg movement.
He's still getting like that twist action in the chair though, so I can kind of appreciate that. Like you can't see the legs, but at least he's he's got the torso part down. K-Momo.
He doesn't know that Diva does.
He doesn't know.
Sorry, I meant Hannah.
K-Momo is just you're on a first name basis, are you?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm on a first name basis with D.Va actually.
Yeah, I call her Hannah, not D.Va. So there
But
it is.
I actually still call Widowmaker Emily. Excuse you. What if you were like that?
Oh,
You know,
you do.
like you're in game and you like kill Jack. Everyone's like, "Who's Jack?" It's like, "Oh, sorry, I forget some people don't know him personally. Kill Soldier."
Yeah, oh boy. Oh boy, Zonda's already thinking hard about something else. He's
Like,
He's
"What
a
will I
new-
eat for dinner?"
I'll tell you what, no one on the Flash Wolves side. That's actually an interesting running joke across, not just here, but across the entire OPC. So I don't even know. There was, I saw a clip which was essentially when Flash Wolves had their biggest loss, which was against Machi and AHQ on the same day in the second round robin. The story goes that, and part of it's true, which is Sinclair went home, and on the way home, he did shed some tears. It was a very emotional sort of day for them, and they were quite sad about it. And DeLave knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Delave is
did
terrified of cameras. He has a
He
deep-seated
did not
phobia.
see that coming. And, you know, and Jongi, the story is, and Jongi went back into his room and whipped a little as well. And then Zonda whipped while eating, and then Coach Ray whipped on the toilet. So that was essentially what it was. Because
So
the
it's
joke
like-
is, because
it's
the
like they were
joke is
trying
the
to outdo
coaches,
each other.
the coach's office is in the toilet. So that's what that
He
joke
cried in his office.
Yeah.
Went, I'm off to the office for a cry.
Yeah.
See you boys in a minute. It's like they're trying to outdo one another. It's like, and then Jongi cried in a skyscraper.
No,
And then Realman died. Ooh, and then
Wow.
Realman cried on a roller coaster. Like they have to get more and more absurd.
Oh boy.
Sinclair went back to his parents' house, crawled into his parents' bed, and cried. I had a nightmare, Mum and Dad.
Oh,
My
boy,
nightmare was that I lost to Machi and AHQ. No, that happened, son. Oh no!
Yeah, that's happened to me before. In the old E-games of 1972, we lost to Machi and AHQ as well.
And I tell you, back then we didn't have any of these fancy stadiums.
It was in Johnny's backyard. That's where we played.
The parents said, "Go outside and play for once," so we did. We moved our desks.
Oh boy. All right, well, we are going to get into this match fairly soon, and it is, if I'm not mistaken, Flash Wolves are the home team here, so things are not going to be any easier for DeToNator.GOLD. And if you're not familiar with the format, Flash Wolves will get map picks 1, 3, and 5. That is the Control, Assault, and the final hybrid map pick, as well as the starting sides. DeToNator.GOLD, as the away side, will get map picks 2 and 4. That is the hybrid and the escort, and of course, the starting sides as well.
That is indeed the case. So, like I said, Flash Wolves, they open the tournament. They are going to close it. Very first match we actually saw was Flash Wolves versus AHQ. So,
Very
here we
fitting.
go. First pick, Flash Wolves. It's going to go to Lijiang Tower. With a
Absolutely,
fireworks
and
show.
it's quite interesting you say, like, AHQ and Flash Wolves open up the tournament. Flash Wolves will now close the tournament. It feels like we have actually gone full circle on that one, which is quite a fitting way to end the entire season.
It does. It's full circle.
Lijiang Tower, as you've
all
also
planned.
mentioned as well, is going to be the opening map pick. It did come out from Flash Wolves. Nothing too crazy here. Not going to go
Yeah,
any
we're
other
in
maps.
we're in Flash Wolves territory here. This is exactly what I expect. And by the way, after you sort of said the thing like, what is a Flash Wolf, and we were like talking about how it's a posh wolf, like that just put it into my head like, what if they are like they're kind of like the Spice Girls? They've got like posh wolf, sporty wolf, baby wolf, ginger wolf. Just that's the squad. Like it's not
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not Zonda. It's like
You need 6 of them. You need 6 of them.
It's like a bacon wolf, real wolf, sink wolf.
Think, well,
I don't know.
what is Zonda Wolf though? Zon Wolf?
Zon wolf. I don't know. It doesn't Zen wolf. Doesn't work very well, does it? It's not the same.
Not for everybody.
No,
not
no.
for everybody.
Yeah, and like Jongi would just be like
Bacon Wolf is the
Jongi
best
would
one.
just be John Wolf. It's like, oh, that's John. Who's that wolf? That's John. This is.
You already definitely
It's been a
enjoyed it.
really long tournament,
It has,
guys.
it
It's been
has.
a really long tournament.
Okay, it's been about 100 or so matches, I believe.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
than 100 matches so far in just the regular season. And you look at some of the map records here. Look, Flash Wolves, 86 maps played, 76 won, 10 lost, and they're not even done yet. They're going to the playoffs, and they will be playing best of 7s there. So, I mean, that record will continue to rise.
Here's the thing, right? I'm just doing a bit of quick math there.
Okay.
If this goes to 4 games and Flash Wolves win, they will have played the same number of games as Sun Sister. Just
Well
Just
observed.
to
Well observed.
Bit of a
Most team-
factoid for
you know, they're going to play more of the games than Sun Sister by default because when you get to the playoffs and you get into the best of sevens, you're just going to get those games, the extra games in there.
Same number of games in the regular season.
And actually, what's interesting is Flash Wolves has a low record of games because every single one of their matches, bar, I believe, 4. 4 of their matches, all other matches they played have been 3-0s.
Yeah.
In their favor.
And that's why it's close to even with Sun Sister, because Sun Sister have mostly been 0-3'd.
Yeah, that is definitely on the other side of the spectrum. Harsh indeed, but at least they ended the tournament on a very positive note. And Flash Wolves are looking to do the same in the regular season. In fact, they want to end the entire tournament, including the playoffs, on a positive note, which means they're looking to win.
I had a teacher once who would use the phrase on a higher note and on a lower note all the time, but every time they did, their voice would actually go higher, like on a higher note, but on a lower note, every single time. Really got under my skin. Speaking of getting under the skin, let's see who gets under whose skin here as Flash Wolves set to open up this opening skirmish. They kind of have a bit of ground control out the front of this courtyard here, but DeToNator aren't going to give it up too easy, but there's the dive from Bacon Jack, and this is what we expect out of them, to be frank. Bacon Jack gets free reign, gets his way, and his way is DeToNator will die. It's his way or the highway. I don't know where the nearest highway is, so let's just cap this point instead.
It's definitely not Route 66, and Bacon
long way from
Wolf
here.
did a fantastic job in that opening skirmish as well. Kind of expected out of this guy, and it's a difficult game to play for DeToNator because you have a top-tier Tracer on one side and someone on the other side who is kind of struggling a bit onto the Tracer, and even if you put Amican on the Tracer, you're also going to be struggling a bit there as well.
Yeah, you know, Bacon Jack is my Wolfoo.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I'm just going to let that terrible pun hang as DeToNator start to swing back. It was actually a good pick opening up onto K-Momo. And by the way, got a bit of a swap up coming in from Flash Wolves. It's actually not Jongi on this Winston here. He's playing the Lucio. He wants to kick it up and break it down, etc., etc. And it's going to be Real Mint actually going to be taking up the Diva.
So that's something a little bit different. Does show Flash Wolves a little bit adaptation, or not so much adaptation, but versatility among their members of what they can actually play.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, at least one thing we're not seeing is Bacon Jack is not going on to the Genji again.
Well, Dodlov is dead again, though. That's one thing that has...
that remains constant.
That is, you know, grass grows...
Grass
green, sky blue, Dodlov dies. Yeah, exactly. It's the force of nature. It's like Scout and TF2. Amican going down now to Sinclair. That's a bio grenade. That's embarrassing. Oh, don't tell your parents about that. Bacon Jack as well is just kind of keeping this point contested endlessly so that Flash Wolves can come on it. Now he's drawn Samurai off it. Oh, actually good catch onto Bacon Jack, and Flash Wolves kind of struggling to keep committing to this one.
They're actually behind in progress.
Yeah, DeToNator have now been able to respawn, and because they got a couple of trade kills, Flash Wolves didn't quite commit to the point at a great time. I think they may just still be able to get a cap through here, just off the back of K-Momo. Oh, never mind, actually. No, they're going to get routed back off this one. Didn't quite set themselves up on the point where they had the window.
And this is interesting because the fight still continues and neither side really seems to be pulling ahead. They're just trading blow for blows, extremely even on both sides, but actually DeToNator, as far as the trading blow for blow, you're actually getting a lot more progress. You're about to double the percentage cap that Flash Wolves have. So Flash Wolves are getting further and further behind, and that's a bad thing.
There they are. DeToNator going to commit with the sound barrier here because Flash Wolves, they're continuing on this one. They seem to want to kind of trickle in here as K-Momo goes down. At least he didn't commit the ultimate, but this is really odd from Flash Wolves.
It's odd, but also, you know, it is the game right now because they decide to put different members on a couple of different roles here, and it's too late to swap them off. In fact, it would almost not make sense to swap anyone. They're risking a potential loss here.
Ooh, ow. K-Momo is going to die as well, and well, I don't know if they're going to touch this point before 99%.
They'll certainly struggle, even with their star 2 DPS players still on those DPSs. Bacon Jack's already had the recall.
Okay, someone touched it. Well, that was that. He made it back. There we go. It's just the Lucio, though. It's just Jongi kind of having a hop about, just going to buy us a bit of time for his team. They do sort of get back onto it, but Zonda's already dead to Amican. Yeah. So even though the time was bought and the team was alive, they're not actually really still contesting this point, ideally. Jongi will rejoin it, and hold on a second. There we go. K-Momo able to get a kill. It's Realman going down. It could actually still go the way of Flash Wolves, but they need to get some kills in pretty quickly, and they're kind of struggling to close them out. They do actually pick up Dodlov. There we go. They get delayed. They're starting to make it happen. I'm going to stop talking. I don't even know what to say about this.
Well, I mean, the fight continues. Pulse Bomb still hasn't been used here, and you know, it has been a turnaround, but DeToNator held on for so long there. Amican killing Zonda was a big deal, but they couldn't close out any more kills on anyone else. Now Zonda respawns with the Dragon Blade, looking to get that revenge. They can't afford to lose anything here, and they have to stick on their remaining picks, so whatever they got to make it work, and Zonda dies again. This is now so many times in a row, he's got to get this sorted.
The only thing is they lost a member at the start of the last fight, and Flash Wolves were able to still kind of swing back because they got the kills. It's like they sort of went, all right, let's get some kills now. And then they just sort of did. So let's see if this Pulse Bomb can actually catch something out, because honestly, DeToNator haven't converted more kills. Zonda will be able to rejoin this team. K-Momo in a bit of trouble, but he's looking all right. And they're still getting the harass, and there we go. Picking out DoToNator, that's the trade back. Zonda going deep, looking to get aggressive. Sticky goes down, is going to force the mech, the Yoshiharu, and Flash will still have this fight on lockdown.
A nice pushback as well, gets the health back, and now the duel continues. Both good, really good Genjis.
Ooh,
And
Zonda.
you know what? Someone's got a friend, and Zonda wasn't the one with that friend.
I suppose, sure, yeah. Anakin's got a friend, confirmed.
That friend was Saihate, and they managed to clean up, but they actually got to be able to recap this. So, you know, Flash Wolves have done a pretty good job of regaining control in terms of progress as well. I think we're going to go into a double time for both sides.
Yeah, we absolutely are, but no, we're not. DeToNator nearly gets a cap through. Barely contesting here as Yoshiharu gets the kill with the self-destruct derailment. K-Momo was kind of forced way out of that one. Zonda goes down. DeToNator getting that sneaky cap through there. DoToNator with this Transcendence is keeping his team safe through this. Hade has respawned and will be able to rejoin the team. Anakin was able to stay alive through that. Didn't get too much with the Dragon Blade. BaconJack answers back with a Pulse Bomb. So they have a window to go aggressive here, but here's the rejoin from Saihate. Pulse Bomb out, doesn't get eaten, doesn't find much either, and they're not actually on the point. Oh, this is so tight. If Flash Wolves kind of step off, which they do, it goes over to DeToNator.
Well, there it is, Flash Wolves. You cannot decide to really change up your roles like that. Not against DeToNator. You might have done that against Sunset, so it might have worked back then, but now, in the final match of the entire tournament, if you're looking to keep your undefeated map streak going, which by the way, they haven't dropped a single map since week 4. If you want to keep that going against DeToNator, you're going to have to play your A game.
Yeah, that would be spicy, wouldn't it? They dropped a map like last game, and that's...
And we thought Honko Attitude was going to be the team to do that.
Yeah.
Turns out it might be DeToNator. That changes a lot.
What a world.
It's opposite day where Sunsister beat DeToNator and then DeToNator beat Flash Wolves. There it is. What a way to close out the season.
We fell into a parallel universe. Well, let's see how Garden goes, because Flash Wolves, they're back onto the greatest hits now. K-Momo on the Diva, Jongi onto the Winston, and already he's starting to execute this dive very nicely. They have all this ground control. Flash Wolves again. Look at BaconJack go. Look at him go. This is so fantastic. Totally uncontested.
He's going.
Yeah. He's going, he's gone. Anakin has to go into full retreat. Now, suddenly DeToNator are completely split up. They do get a couple of return kills to their credit, but honestly, they are split. And Flash Wolves are still converting the kills because BaconJack is uncontested. They have the ground control. It would have to be hero plays that turn it around for DeToNator here, and they've still got Saihate around here trying to harass while another member is on the point, and it's just not paying off for them.
Absolutely not. Now, Flash Wolves, everyone's on their preferred picks, everyone's on their best heroes, and suddenly for DeToNator, unable to find a lot of the openings they had onto night markets, and suddenly Flash Wolves look that much better, look that much more imposing. BaconJack not even really answered. BaconJack, however, not being answered means he gets all the kills.
And already picking up Anakin is the way to do that. That's the nano boost down onto Jongi. No surprises there. That is a very favorite play. And BaconJack, yeah, why not? Like, let's just round it out. Let's give one to Sinclair. Heck, let's give one to the sky. Yoshiharu takes a dive.
He likes to share it out. Everyone on this team can grab a kill.
You get a kill, and you get a kill, and you get a kill. Flash Wolves.
It's like savings for everybody, but I don't know.
Flash Wolves truly are a
BaconJack is the Oprah of his team.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Zonda onto the backside now with this Dragon Blade. Even though they lost Jongi, this wasn't really a window for DeToNator.
Ooh, cut
that's
down.
a good shutdown there. A cut-down shutdown, as it were. Anakin, he's not really able to find much more, though, and the self-destruct forces the positioning of DeToNator. They're in a bit of a tight spot here, trying to commit to this point, but Flash Wolves are still on it. Good sticky to come out, but the kills are coming through anyway. Saihate suddenly finds himself the last man on the point here, aside from Samurai D, who's only really there because of ultimate health, basically. You just have more time, and Jongi is still there as well. It's not like they're getting the trades through, and Jongi
good
was actually
pickups at the end.
Yeah, and then go straight in for the route as well. Why not? Catch DoToNator, start closing out more. They get Anakin too, insult to injury, and no contest so far from DeToNator.
And BaconJack looks like he was about to get one more kill. Has to back up, has to respect the fact that respawners do start to pour out for DeToNator at any moment, but this is a lot of time wasted for DeToNator. They're still looking for an opening, and BaconJack's not quite done yet.
Nearly got the sticky there, didn't quite, but he's still putting the pressure on Samurai D, so it doesn't matter. Samurai D can't join his team.
BaconJack down.
Yeah, he does go down, but it means the clock has been run out. Now DeToNator are going to commit. Yeah, great one. So look, let's see how DeToNator can commit, because actually Saihate has got the ground that BaconJack normally has, but the protection is also in there as well. This is, they at least got the nano boost off, but Sigler does still go down anyway. Transcendence is there for Dotlov. He's just going to go down off the back end of it, and Zonda needs to get so much mileage. Doesn't actually have his own Dragon Blade, but Anakin doesn't find much with his, and looks to be losing his life here in a moment. There it goes as Bacon Jack rejoins the fray. Oh, straight up dies to Sayhade. Why not? But Zonda has his Dragon Blade now, can start to close out the fight. K-Momo has the self-destruct to commit as well if they need to force DeToNator's positioning, and it looks like it is just going to be cleanup now for Flash Wolves.
Absolutely, they're still waiting for a couple respawners here, so the fight does continue, and DeToNator aren't going to let this go just yet. No more ultimates coming up from DeToNator. Well, actually, they get the Prime Ray, so more time is available, but they're not getting any kills.
And they're not really getting people onto the point either, because Flash Wolves are doing a good job of cutting off the reinforcements as well. They're sort of killing people in this marching column as they try and book it to the point. So really, it's just Samurai D. He does stall for a very long time, and he did at least give them the opportunity to regroup, but Flash Wolves shut that opportunity back down, and then they killed Samurai D. That was just well handled.
A very dominant looking Flash Wolves compared to what we saw in Denying Markets, and I think what you really get out of that is how much of a difference it makes. A, that people play their preferred roles.
No more Mr. Nice Wolf.
But actually, not only that people play their preferred roles, but actually how good people are on those preferred roles. Because really, I think the big one for me was K-Momo on Winston and Jongi on Winston. Really, when you look at the difference there between Night Market and Gardens, and I'm not just talking about the result of the game, which was, a bit of a wipeout for Flash Wolves, but how the Winston in particular was handled, it was a night and day experience.
I was kind of hoping that, like, on each map, a different person would play Winston, and, like, tonight, instead of Flash Wolves, there'd be Flash Winstons.
How did Jongi convince someone to play Winston again? Like, it's just incredible.
Yeah. And that's why K-Momo, he's like, never again.
I hate this experience.
Well, there's the dive in from Jongi to sort of counter out Samurai D's. No one has really gone down just yet, but the pressure is there onto Jongi. But look, Flash Wolves, once again, they actually have the space. Oh, dear. This is a dead Zenyatta. Yeah. Zonda cleaning that one out. And again, look, Flash Wolves are actually getting these wraparounds. Zonda getting pressured is good, but they're not getting anything more. Yeah, and Bacon Jack is not really getting punished either. They finally dive deep enough to get Zonda, but while that's all happening, the rest of DeToNator is just getting so pressured.
One clip.
Yeah, they're so scattered as well. Anakin is way off in the side of this fight. So Hardy gets closed out as well. They pick Samurai D. This is exactly what you kind of expect when one team gets all of the ground in the fight. The other just has nowhere to go.
Absolutely, this entire area is just one big playground for Flash Wolves, and also for Bacon Jack in particular. You see his ability, his mastery over the Tracer hero is just, he knows the complete limits, everything there is to know about Tracer. Even this 1v1 here, he does actually have to get out, but the fact, wow, good punish. Actually, Sayhade swinging that around is a big deal for DeToNator. Maybe they can find an opening here.
That was very clever. He knew that he was going to retreat to Realman. That was the nearest healing because he denied the health back as well. They catch K-Momo's mech in this one as well, so they do have an opening, and I really hope that they can kind of go for it because they did lose Dodlov. This is going to be a Transcendence out from Sinclair though, so they had to wait for that, and while they're waiting, they lose Yoshiharu's mech and a whole lot more as well. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Big string of kills. This is why it's the Jongi Bacon Jack coin flip, because you just flip the coin and one of these two players will go off, and actually when both players go off, that's when Flash Wolves are just nigh unstoppable.
And every so often the coin lands on like the rim side and you get a Zonda play the game.
You get the real. It lands on real. Zonda for some reason doesn't show up that often. He's kind of there. He does his job.
Oh, Anakin.
But the other players get to, yeah.
Oh, that's a self-destruct.
That's a spawn camp.
So great. That's a spawn camp self-destruct. This is
a boop kill as well. I mean, this is just everything. This is everything and more. Flash Wolves still got two ultimates to play with. DeToNator have a little bit more. I expect DeToNator to be able to push on through with the support ultimates.
It's like they want to be able to get a kill in every way possible in one match. It's here we go. This is the commit out of Anakin very early, very telegraphed, and the Transcendence as well. They're going to get nothing for it. They're not even on the point. Now they're going to reach the point with no resources left. Zondo is ready to catch them and cut them off in the rear, as is Bacon Jack. Heck, Realman's here too. Why not? Bacon Jack goes wide of the pulse bomb, but Dotlov's out of the picture already. They do get K-Momo, but look at this. He's swinging through the sound barrier. He's making it work. Self-destruct finds nothing. And Transcendence out from Sinclair as well. Oh, doesn't quite save Jongi.
Nearly 99.
Just took a dive. Why not? Yeah, nearly 99. Now coming up to 99. Zonda does actually go down. So DeToNator have been able to make some use of this space here. So Hardy getting picked off. But Bacon Jack, he's going to struggle to contest all of these members of DeToNator. Flash Wolves may actually just have to seed this.
Bacon Jack is still Bacon Jack, and I expect him to be able to compete here under even very dire circumstances. So DeToNator, they do get the cap over. Flash Wolves, they had to seed that. A little bit surprising. Someone must have just dropped off the point because actually they have a lot of members still hanging around. They finally decided actually we don't have control of the point anymore. Our members are kind of respawning. We might just have to regroup instead.
And I do like this as well, because they've kept the harass on DeToNator's members such that they can just kind of recommit to the fight now that they're regrouped. And this is how they're going to do it. Send Bacon Jack around the side. He's onto the healers, catches one.
Wrong place.
He's looking against Sayhadi.
Wrong place.
Singler does go
Other
down,
way
so it
around.
is a trade back. And oh dear, Bacon Jack going down. That's the double commit from the DPS ultimates out of DeToNator, but it's well worth it because it closes out the fight for them, and they do get more time in the point.
Great fight from DeToNator, actually. That was, able to find an opening against Flash Wolves, penetrating that weakness and exploiting it, getting the kills. And so, for the first time, we're used to seeing like Flash Wolves, they're spawn camping DeToNator. Looks absolutely terrible for them, but actually, DeToNator now in control of the point, already over 50%. This is a decent showing so far.
So far indeed. Now let's see what else Flash Wolves can pull out of this, because they do have a good run of ultimates for this one. Good sticky comes out, but the Transcend is there to counter it, and they have plenty of tools. How Zonda gets picked out once again. Great dive by Samurai D. Good target selection came on, forced out of the mech, and Flash Wolves just kind of have to see this fight already. They only get the one return kill. They don't have any ultimates to go off. They're being forced back, and Sayhadi is here to cut off the retreat path as well.
That is really unfortunate for Flash Wolves. They're being caught out a decent amount, and you're right, Jongi did actually commit into that one, which means Flash Wolves, they're not ready to give this up, and they won't have time to give this up. If they back off now, they're going to head into the overtime. They're losing, actually. They picked up a member on the other side, so maybe they will be able to clean up this fight.
Oh, Zonda finds Yoshiharu as he was in that pilot form. That is big. Anakin does have the cutoff, but Flash Wolves aren't fully grouped just yet. They're still kind of regrouping. Sayhadi is able to rejoin the fight. Luckily, they're able to just convert a few kills here while that's happening, and the Transcendence steers them through. They're looking to get a regrab here, 99 to 99. Last few members of DeToNator try to trickle on. Sayhadi going down, though, means they're not going to be able to get their own real contest on this one. Yoshiharu dives in, but he's not even touched the point. Oh dear, finally touches it in pilot form, but he's going to go down. Delay as well. No one here to touch it now. And 99 to 90. Oh, no, I'm a liar. Here we go. Surely. How many more? Come on!
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? I'm deeply entertained by this. So at 99 to 99, Flash Wolves put themselves up 2-1.
All right, so when we look at, I'm going to discount Night Market for a moment here because that was a little bit weird from Flash Wolves.
Well, it is a discount market.
When you look at Garden, that's an expected result of Flash Wolves. They've really shut down DeToNator in every shape and form. Then you look at Control Center, and while they were ahead for most of the game, actually for DeToNator, swinging it back into 99 for them, they had to win multiple fights after getting spawn camp. That is not an easy thing to do. That is a very surprising thing to do against Flash Wolves. And you can see that actually Flash Wolves were caught off guard.
They were a little bit, and they are actually giving DeToNator these opportunities to catch them off guard as well. They're not actually being completely disciplined here, and that is a bit of a mistake, and it could be a costly mistake if they do it too many times at the wrong time. So now they can just close out the series here and now, but they could just as easily, I feel, give DeToNator an opportunity to get further back in it.
Yeah, well, Garden was the one map so far into Lijiang where they looked the most dominant, at least,
Oh, hello. Sayhadi finds Sigma on the back. So trade back, though. Dodlov also goes down. Realman as well. And it's just kill for kill. The healers, healers are out of the picture. It's all just whatever health bar you have. And trying it for Samurai T. This is like directly mirrored. Anakin has to die now, please.
I don't think so. His health is too high.
But I'll tell you what it is. Oh, there we go. Bacon Jack finds Sayhadi. I was going to say, what was happening there was Sayhadi was getting more mileage than Bacon Jack, but now Bacon Jack is going to rejoin the fray. But the cap has at least gone to DeToNator.
And that is another thing that is, somewhat surprising, but well played by DeToNator. If you're Flash Wolves, you've got a couple question marks on the top of your face right now. So they had a great flank on the backside. And still, DeToNator, they got the cap over, but now they're losing members.
Bacon Jack was still in the fight. He's like, no, guys, it's all right. It's not over yet. I'm still here. And, well, there you go.
So it's a short lead for DeToNator, and it's going to be a short-lived lead as well. Cap should be going up at any moment now. 20-something% is what DeToNator got to play with. That's 25% that Flash Wolves do not have in their backpack, and it's going to be an extra fight DeToNator get to cash in at some point later on in this map.
And they are going to have to make a lot out of it. That is potentially the window that they will have that Flash Wolves has sort of given them. So now, let's see what Flash Wolves do to close this out. They actually don't have any ultimates really to use, at least for this particular moment. So DeToNator, if they can commit now, they can go for this. But they are unable to commit. They were too busy setting up. They are committing now with this Dragon Blade, as Anakin has no real support. He does at least find Sigler, but Yoshiharu, the mech, is gone. He's just not finding enough on his own here, Anakin, and now he's just going to have to get killed as he tries to dash for the point. And now the Flash Wolves have their own ultimates up. They're looking much healthier for this next defense.
Absolutely. So they're already taken over DeToNator's progress now. DeToNator just being routed. Jongi even committing the primal raise just to bash everyone around. And actually for DeToNator, they've attempted to go for the cap, but Samurai D's Primal Rage, I don't feel like it's going to get too much done here. It does keep the fight somewhat alive, but all of this time goes in Flashful's favor. They're collecting more and more percentage.
Oh, hello. Yoshiharu and Samurai D did do a good bit of work on the back side of that, but they actually still can't get the cap through because there's enough members here at Flashful's contesting while the rest regroup and heal, and then suddenly DeToNator, who thought they had just kind of got the point over for themselves, get collapsed back upon, and they didn't really respect that Flashful's could keep that fight alive. They didn't respect the numerical superiority.
I almost feel like it was a little bit naive for DeToNator to believe they could keep the fight alive. They decided to commit ultimates when they were already down on members. They were already waiting for respawners, and meanwhile, DeToNator were losing progress and Flashful's were collecting more percentage, and now it's coming back to bite them.
Dodlov used the Transcendence, which was a tool they had, but he didn't really get much with it. At least they converted the kill into Realman, but that's all they're really getting so far. And there are still trade kills coming through. Catching Jongi is good, but oh, there we go. Closing out Bacon Jack. That was the must kill there. And with that, they should actually be able to get this one through. Now, this was the one
nice
fight.
Timing will help.
Yeah, this was the one fight they bought themselves.
This is that one fight they now get to cash in, and they got to cash in pretty early. Cash in far earlier than they wanted to. At least they got the recap over.
Bacon Jack's
it's kind
back.
of an awkward, huh?
Bacon Jack's back already.
Yeah, well,
and now
just like
Dodlov's
the
dead.
Backstreet Boys, they're back.
Oh no. Bacon Jack's back. All right. I regret doing that so much.
And it's on record forever, so there it is.
Oh no. Well, look, it's on a Backstreet Boys record forever as well. So they made an equally bad mistake. Samurai D going down there is very unfortunate for them. Bacon Jack has rejoined the fight completely and has actually kind of had a lot of free reign around this. This is just every single fight. Like, DeToNator finally get back on, but Bacon Jack is still there harassing. No one kills him, and then suddenly the rest of Flash Wolves are just there again. They close out. Anakin does at least get one, finds his counterpart, but he immediately goes down to the other DPS, and Bacon Jack finally looking like it'll go back over to Flash Wolves, and it looks like they'll be able to close it out off the back of it as well. Oh, man.
Yeah, 93 is
John
a...
Love knows. Oh, the 1v1s! The 1v1s!
But the cap.
Yeah, the cap is there. Zonda's going to rejoin it with a Dragon Blade to close out whatever DeToNator throw at the point, and it will just be throwing bodies at the point as Saihari goes down to Sinkler of all people, and Realman catches
is
Don
not
Love.
fun to watch.
The
What's going on,
supports
Zonda?
are getting all these kills. Zonda even dies, but it doesn't matter because Sinkler has this one on lockdown, boys. Anakin is diving onto the point. He's just trying to hide from Bacon Jack to buy time for his team, but it's not going to work. Jongi to close it out. No one else really here to go in any significant numbers, and they are just getting picked off as they try and rejoin the fight. Self-destruct to kind of cut off any further reinforcements. I'm not even sure who's contesting the point. It must have been Saihari because the moment he went down, the cap disappeared and Flash Wolves. There we go.
Smiles across the board. They finally get their win. That first map was a little bit awkward for them. Speaking of awkward, man, Zonda, that's a bit of a feels bad moment for him. I mean, he gets killed by Anakin, wants to get the revenge kill, pulls out the Dragon Blade, Anakin deflects everything, then he can't find any other kills and he just sort of stays here and, yeah, I don't know. This was a good play though.
Yeah, Zonda did actually get a play of the game.
But does he get the player of the match?
The real question.
Because it's a two-sided coin and two players are already on. One player's on each side of that coin already and none of them is Zonda.
Yeah, Zonda's the room. We've already established this. It's the room of the coin. It doesn't have nothing, but sometimes it'll land there. I was watching a sports match. I was watching a sports match the other day where the coin toss landed on the rim, and like they just retossed it. But there was this brief moment where everyone was like, "What's the protocol here?
Yeah.
Like,
is there a rule?
Are we allowed to retoss it? Like as though they wouldn't be? No, match is cancelled. Sorry."
So what the solution is? They do a coin which is this really thin, so you can't actually land.
Yeah.
Hole.
But like, what if it was that like if it lands on the rim, the match is just cancelled and it's called a draw? It's like so back in the days of using guillotines for executions, if the blade just jammed, you were free to go. So you're absolved.
Like your crimes were just...
you were absolved of your crimes. You were free to go. Imagine if that happens to you. Like that's like that sports match where the coin lands in the middle and it's just like, oh, nothing happens. No, sorry. Both teams are free to go. No one has to take a loss today.
Yeah, well, everyone go home. But Flash Wolves, they probably look to go home a little bit early if they can take a 3-0 against DeToNator.GOLD. And so, you know, one map out of the way for them. DeToNator.GOLD had some promising moments. What I really want to point out is when we look at, I believe it was Control Center that flipped around. So we had basically 99% or close to 99%, if I'm not mistaken, for Flash Wolves.
That was a joy.
And then DeToNator actually turned it back around after getting spawn camped. So this is the kind of DeToNator that actually comes in and is able to challenge Flash Wolves, and it's a very surprising thing for us, for DeToNator, and probably for Flash Wolves as well, because that's a Flash Wolves that has got everyone on the correct picks, everyone's on their preferred heroes, on their best heroes, and still DeToNator are able to find openings. In fact, they find openings even on Garden as well, and just sort of across the board.
In their defense, Flash Wolves are playing extremely aggressively. Like, they're playing aggressively a little bit beyond the point of reason, and there are just times where that's not paying off, and those are the times DeToNator are capitalizing. And good on DeToNator for capitalizing, like, don't get me wrong, but I would expect a more disciplined Flash Wolves to be taking this out a lot more convincingly. It's not that, I don't know, I'm not going to go ahead and put words in their mouths and say like it's intentionally undisciplined or anything like that, but certainly they aren't playing as disciplined as they could be.
Yeah, they haven't opened Pandora's box yet, and this is not their final form, so to speak. This is not the best
final wolf.
Yeah, how many wolves are there? I don't.
Yeah, it's like when you combine all 6 wolves with our wolves combined.
Without wolves combined.
Which one's the heart wolf?
I don't
do you
know.
Wonder? Man, what a useless power! Like, what is heart? What did that even do? What is that? What? What a useless power,
I'm trying to figure out what the reference is, to be honest.
Captain Planet.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, there was an old cartoon.
I never watched it as a
back
kid,
when
so I'm not too sure.
See, I did. I don't know. I didn't even enjoy it. I don't know why I watched it. I was like, who's this dude with like the weird colored skin? Like, what's hard all about? Like, why don't they just combine their powers all the time so that this dude can just solve the problems? Like, why are they constantly waiting for the last minute? It made no sense.
Let's get into a replay now, and this was on the second. This was when the Gardens happened. The first Gardens that we saw, Flash Wolves playing everyone on their proper picks here, and the opening fight as well. So pretty even trades so far, and if I'm not mistaken, Flash Wolves do actually take control of the original fight.
Yeah. So this is the moment where that happens, where suddenly, even though the trades have been even, Flash Wolves are actually grouped and DeToNator really aren't. And that's all the difference. And then Jongi, who died very early, rejoins the fight and just kind of swings the numbers back in their favor. So, like I said, that's a common theme really with Flash Wolves is, even when trades are even, they are always coming to better out of the positional game.
Yeah, and that's definitely, you know, a very experienced team, and they understand their win conditions very well. Actually, K-Momo got a decent number of kills on the back of that. And it's one of those things where you expect the Diva to be very much a protective, defensive type of player, but when he got ignored, he was able to find picks on his own as well. So, you know, everybody on the Flash Wolves side, when they're on their best picks, they know their heroes so well. They know their roles extremely well, and they know what they need to do to get the job done.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. So, I suppose the thing I want to touch on here is the fact that DeToNator are capitalizing on some of these windows. Here we go, Control Center. This is actually hopefully going to be one of the fights where they did actually capitalize on these windows.
Opening fight.
Yeah. So I actually think this was this one did end up coming up Flash Wolves if I'm not mistaken. But you sort of see off to the side here. This is exactly what it is. They're controlling the ground. DoToNator hasn't joined the team the same way as Singler has. He's not actually as safe, and because of that, Flash Wolves collapse on him. And that is honestly just DeToNator's mispositioning. They were thinking, okay, let's put him off to the side so that while they're all kind of piling onto this, I suppose just upper corridor, if you will. We've got a healer off to the side that's safe, but it backfired. It was a complete misfire. And there is a good reason most teams don't do that. There's a reason you sit them with the team. Sure, they were expecting Zonda to be with the team and like maybe try and dive through and catch DoToNator, but he's less likely to succeed at that as he is to kill DoToNator if he finds him out in the open, which is what happened. DeToNator allowed it to happen.
And actually, you know, even after that, you see the well play by Jongi on the outside area at the end of that replay. He locked out Anakin for the rest of the team fight, so Anakin couldn't do anything. Eventually, he had Samurai D come and sort of help Anakin out and just repel Jongi out of the fight, but I mean, the damage was done by them because your DPS player was not a part of your main engage. Zonda was, and now we're going to King's Row.
Well, King's Row. I've missed
Standard
it.
3-course meal.
Yeah, 3-course meal. Lijiang, King's Row, Anubis. Check, please.
Can we split that?
The problem is if they
I'm only paying for the Anubis part.
Yeah. I didn't have as much of the Lijiang as Flash Wolves. Like I got to the I can imagine this, right? Because DeToNator will probably defend first, and Flash Wolves I do kind of expect them to like get a full push through, and then if DeToNator get first held, and they'll be like at the counter afterwards, like, I don't know, like you got more out of King's Row than I did. Like you got to see more of the map. Like I don't know, I don't think I should really pay as much. Like that's only fair, right? Flash was like, I mean, we agreed we'd split it. You know, that was the conditions of the date, and then they just don't ask DeToNator back for another date.
Oh, you might not see DeToNator again because they are heading to relegation, so that's something, you know, Flashful's the final send-off for the team.
Got to make this night count.
And I want to talk about Kings Row specifically because the last time we saw DeToNator on Kings Row against one of the top 3 teams of the playoffs teams was against Blank, and now in that specific matchup, we saw DeToNator pull out the Zaya Hanzo combo, and I would say failure to execute on that 4 minutes to try and get it done. No kills on the Dragon Strike.
I had some opinions about that, and they wouldn't. Go back and watch it. They were not good opinions, and I still hold those opinions. I do not like the game plan. I think it is binary. I think it is hard to execute. I don't think DeToNator are a team that is good enough to execute it, and I don't think it is even the best team comp. I think there are better things that they could run. There are better things that they are able to run, and if they run those, I think they're more likely to win than if they run this Hanzo thing.
I mean, what we've discovered so far on Lijiang Tower is that in fact DeToNator can and have done. They've been able to find weaknesses within Flashful's, penetrate those weaknesses, and turn team fights around and actually get those team fight wins. I mean, yeah, they got one actual map win on 9 markets when Flashful's win on preferred picks, but then they actually turned around a lot of fights on the other maps of Lijiang as well. So I think it's possible for a team like DeToNator, at least on the attack, if you can just turn around one fight on the attack, well, that's a point cap.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong at all. So it does look like it is going to be DeToNator defending first. This doesn't surprise me. This is DeToNator's pick, and I suppose that's the thing, right? That's why I'm kind of worried that they'll pull out this Hanzo on the attack again, because it's their pick. So they're planned for this map. Obviously, that Hanzo is a strat that they like to run on this map.
I don't know. It might be a one-off. They ran the Sombra attack a couple of times. You do, and I hope the Sombra attack was going to be a one-off as well, but they pulled it out a couple of times. What we really hope for is they play something a lot more standard than even that.
I just want to see them do something normal.
This is pretty normal.
This is about as normal gets.
Flashful's on the other hand.
There we go.
When they change off, they'll be okay.
I was kind of hoping they'd stick with the Orisa, but never mind. Bacon Jack.
You get a few if they do, you get a few flashbacks to when they pulled out the Orisa against Blank, and that did not end well.
Oh man, on the Numbani attack.
That was an experience and a half.
I remember those days, and like I've never seen a team change off so quickly. They were like, oh, whoops. Hope no one was watching that. Like they just want that to be forgotten about, you know? Like the time they said something embarrassing at a family gathering, like they just want everyone to forget, please. Oh, Anakin's dead.
He'll remember that.
Yeah. Rest in pepperonis, Anakin. Zonda now gets onto the high ground to get aggressive. He does get forced off there by Yoshiharu, but it means Yoshiharu is kind of busy up in this high ground, so Hardy is getting aggressed upon as well. He has to retreat to lick his wounds. Yoshiharu is still getting pressured out. Flashfulls are the ones on the point. It is on DeToNator to aggress back somehow, but even then, it is DeToNator. It is DeToNator continually losing the ground here. The pulse bomb is available, but he's not even going to use it because they're just getting the kills through. And that's the thing. Flashfulls control all the territory. They are telling DeToNator where they need to stand if they want to live.
Actually, Zonda assaulted the high ground by himself, and he successfully got himself a kill and got out alive. And usually, it's very difficult for teams to break that high ground. Zonda did it solo. Meanwhile, Bacon Jack was on the ground, and he won that ground battle first person to collect an ultimate in the opening fight, and he still hasn't needed to use that yet. He's going to be able to save it for the streets, which is going to give Flashfulls a lot of momentum to work with.
Bacon Jack having an honorable duel with Saihari and completely wins it. Zonda getting routing on the back end, on the back line rather. Anakin does get the trade kill through, but it's just like a glowing ninja and a glowing gorilla just have a fight.
Not something you see every day.
I love this
Not
game.
your common bar brawl, not your common boxing match.
I don't know, man. You should see the bars I go to.
Oh, okay.
Ninjas and gorillas and zombies. Like, there's all kinds of
zombies
dudes.
even. Oh, show me sometime.
Yeah, but it's like it's a hoot. There's owl people too. You're right.
Okay, well, maybe Night Owl will go there after his retirement. Flashful's looking pretty set up here. Still got 4 ultimates in the bank. They only used 2. The Nano Blade. Zhongy's now doing the dance. He's done it in real life, and he's doing it in the game as well.
Evidently, K-Momo doesn't have the
did
diva
that
dance,
happen?
and then Realman died. Yeah, how did that happen? I don't know.
That's very strange.
Realman was diving, boys.
I have a feeling Realman might have
All right.
push forward. I don't know.
Anakin, what can you get? Yeah, oh, he gets Zonda. That's actually
he
good
does that
opening.
consistently,
He
actually.
nearly went down actually, but the sound barrier did save him. He might just go down to the back end of this one. Oh, he's kind of able to give them the slip there and get some health topped off. So they do stall up Flash Wolves a little bit here by killing Zonda and
What?
Jongi. Oh, Bacon Jack was pressured out. I don't know.
No, he didn't. I don't know. It doesn't look like he
How?
pulse bombed. Maybe he pulse bombed and killed himself. I'm not too sure.
But he
And
did.
something that's interesting is I don't know how
Where do you
Anakin
even
does.
dive here?
I don't know. I don't know how Anakin does this
you know
either.
what? It's on the third point. On the third point, you can dive. That's where.
Anakin consistently kills Zonda somehow. That's really interesting to me.
So Hardy, though, he gets consistently killed himself. And K-Momo, look at what he's just blocking out. Like, no one can actually come in for any kind of counter-aggression here. And now they all kind of pile into this room. While they're busy doing that, they're like, okay, Dodlov's exposed. Let's kill him. Delave's exposed. Let's kill him. Suddenly the tanks have to pull back. They find that they pull back to a team that is dead. There's no one to protect. And now they're able to just kind of keep themselves alive through this one. Now, Realman, with the ultimate, the Transcendence, I don't know, didn't it just have no window to fight back?
Psyhydra getting picked out earlier is not a good thing either because they want to use the nano visor there, except Psyhydra goes down. Donlov doesn't live for too long either, so their option for actually winning that defense and actually holding out is they never get to execute it because a piece of that puzzle is always missing.
That's actually a really good way to put it, yeah. And even then, they're never putting themselves in favorable situations. The way they're reacting to Flash Wolves
what
was...
a
Oh,
sleep.
hello.
Well played.
Bacon
That is
nap.
something else.
That was actually sick.
I mean, how did
this is
Donlov
the
even
commit.
see him?
This is the commit now, and this is just absolute destruction. Samurai D with the nano boost is happy to go in. They catch Zonda in that. K-Momo, he may even go down here, actually. Look for a moment like he was going to be able to retreat. He does hold on to the self-destruct, which is smart. And while that's happening, they kill Jongi, and they're just going to let K-Momo live. Go back and tell your friends what happened here.
Tell your boss what I just did to you.
Tell your boss, this is DeToNator territory now.
Flash Wolves, they do have to. Is that the first fight win for DeToNator so far? I believe it is. And this
The
is
first proper one.
is kind of where it counts because while your joke is DeToNator territory, it kind of is. This is the best place
dear.
for DeToNator to hold.
Nanoblade though, and he's already found Dotlov between him and Bacon Jack.
Ouch.
Dream team to the extreme. Good response though to catch the backliners. If they want to keep going, it's without healers, and now it's without Jongi as well.
Shahada.
Honestly, Zonda and Bacon Jack want to keep on this one because they've kind of made it work. The healers have respawned. They're going to be able to rejoin the fight. And Zonda, he was just like standing behind Yoshiharu, who just didn't even seem to notice. So they've actually kept this fight going for the team, who is now going to start the respawn. It's a longer walk, so they can't just pull back for a moment, regroup and reaggress, and that looks like what they're going to do.
Yeah, it was interesting. They weren't really getting much progress with the card or anything. They were just kind of poking for a little bit of ult charge. They finally get that. Zonda gets a revenge kill on Anakin. Wow, he's been waiting a while for that.
Good counter dive though by Samurai D to at least find Realman. Cuts off the what's the word of that one? The Transcendence. That's the thing. And they're still getting good kills up here through onto DeToNator. They do find the other healer again, but honestly, the DPS is just doing all the kills. Like Bacon Jack is just being Bacon Jack.
Yeah, when Bacon Jack's got a little bit of support to play with him, dodges the sleep dart that time. Donlov can't hit two in a row. Bacon Jack's learned his lesson.
Looking to close this one out now. He's good boop. It buys him some time, but I mean, he's just. But he comes back out into the rest of Flash
bad.
Wolves.
Feels bad,
Feels
Zonda.
so bad. And now Bacon Jack routing everyone, kettling them in the base. This is not looking good for DeToNator. This is going to be a cap through for Flash Wolves. It's really just a matter of time, to be honest. They do get some return kills here. They had at least got Zonda, but honestly, the kills are still coming out. Flash Wolves self-destruct, not going to really do much here except create a bit of space for K-Momo as he gets back in the mech now. It feels like a matter of time. I'm surprised actually the DeToNator have stalled this long and they're on this May pick as well, but this looks to be the last breath for them as Samurai D goes down. Anakin does not get back into contest, and Flash Wolves push it through with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, May doesn't even make it on at that sort of stage, so it was just buying time. DeToNator had no more actual tools to win. They had nothing in terms of ultimates. They weren't getting any picks either. Flash Wolves' inevitable victory right at the end, but they were stopped up on the third cap. That's the biggest takeaway. DeToNator were able to win a couple of fights towards the end there. At the end of the day, Flash Wolves still a little bit too strong.
At the end of the day, how many times have we said that about Flash Wolves? At the end of the day, they are the ones that get it over the line. At the end of the day, they are the better team. It's not just when they're playing against DeToNator. Like, we've said it when they played AHQ, and when they played Blank, and when they played Hong Kong Attitude, and when they've been able to consistently get these wins. This is why they haven't dropped a map now for like 7 weeks, because at the end of the day, they are just the better team.
Such a difficult way to finish the tournament, to finish the season for DeToNator. Already copped the loss to Sun Sister. And congrats to Sun Sister for doing that. For DeToNator though, It's a very difficult final day for them. 2 back-to-back matches that they're looking for, potentially 2 back-to-back losses as we're going to get the Orisa Torbjorn defense coming through.
I love it. I'm just a fan of Orisa.
Is it the 4 legs that do it for you?
What are you trying to say? That's a robot.
That it
just
is.
think it's
That it is. Nothing incorrect about that
It's just a
whatsoever.
well-designed hero. Jeez.
You know what? A 9-year-old could never design that.
Oh, well, no, she didn't design it. Like, the robot already existed.
Partly true. It's true.
Like, the
Most of it was already there.
OR-15 already existed. So then she just kind of modified it, and it's the OR-15A, which is where the name Orisa comes from.
15A.
Yeah, because it's a deviation on the OR-15 with a personality as well.
Right, lots of upgrades in there. Jongi, of course, the one to pick up the Orisa, as expected, as normal. Interesting, a lot of teams would not normally put their main tank player on the Orisa, but in this case, Jongi's the guy.
Yeah, Jongi's the guy, and that means no Winston. Flashwolves breathe the sigh
That's
of
one way to
relief.
get off Winston.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? No Winston. You guys don't get a Winston. Trading Ana for Ana, though, and actually this is off to a good start as they catch Realman's turret. Jongi's in a bit of trouble, but they trade back onto Yoshiharu's mech. Oh dear, Anakin, good dive. And this could actually flip the way of DeToNator here if Flashwolves don't get a good enough rack of return kills. Losing K-Mom's mech as well. They don't have much to go off. The DPS could still close something up. Wow.
Zonda.
Yeah, heck,
Wow,
why not? That's a little unfortunate, but it's only Bacon Jack. Actually, no, never mind. It's not Bacon Jack at all. He's dead. Realman might try and do it. This is actually tough for Flashwolves. They don't really have the numbers to do this.
I mean, their defense is kind of
They're gonna
shattered
try.
here. They have to get back in, but the cap is going through. Almost 2/3 gone.
Jongi's dead already, just about. There we go. He's barely getting healed up, but it's only a matter of time as he finally goes down. Singler did have sightlines, but by having sightlines, he leaves himself exposed to Anakin's dive on the backline. He's even going to slice up a burning dwarf. Heck, why not? You should see the bars
That's
I go to. So, DeToNator now
Why not?
are going to be able to get the cap through, get the payload underway. Let's see if they can actually push it to a time bank.
There you go. There should be a punish on the back end as well. So,
Come
you know,
on.
Bacon Jack not catching a break on that one either. And
Not catching a break in Jack.
And one of the few times we're seeing Bacon Jack onto the Soldier, because usually it is picked up by Zonda. Now he goes back on the Tracer. He actually gave up the ultimate. He was at 94% charge for the Take Visor, not even going to bother to start with. I actually believe it was better for Bacon Jack to start out on the Tracer. Playing the Soldier to start with might have been a mistake.
Bacon Jack's just back where he's from, Paul. That's what it is. The Bacon is...
It's interesting because I think on some level, this is a little bit meta, but if the meta changes where Tracer's no longer relevant, I don't know what Bacon Jack's going to play.
Both teams just kind of committed to that fight hard, and then nothing came of it. Flashwolves are looking a little bit worse for wear, but they're keeping themselves topped up. There we go. The dive finally finds Realman, but Zonda's the one actually going on the aggressive here as he trades back onto Delay. Unfortunately, he spends all his time slicing up a mech and doesn't really find much for it. They do at least close it out, and I don't believe it. Zonda was able to get out, saved by that sleep there onto Samurai D. Somebody's like, oh, I'm up. I'm coming, team. Flashwolves are going to be able to keep this fight alive, actually, even though Bacon Jack goes down to the back end of it. They've stalled up a lot of time here, and they have actually bought themselves an opportunity to defend before the second cap.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I mean, DeToNator have actually done, I would say, a decent job overall. Just breaking the Orisa Torbjorn defense, I think that was a very well played moment for DeToNator. They've actually still attempting to break on through. They've made a decent amount of card distance as well.
Yeah, Flashwolves just really continually committing. They're making it hard for DeToNator. They have to kind of fight for every inch, but they are actually coming out on top of a lot of these fights.
Oh, nice deflect.
Oh, great deflect, yeah. Doesn't actually sleep anyone with it, but he saves his own life and still slices up Sinclair. Dodd love the trade back, but actually Flashwolves are the ones getting routed out. Jongi has had to go into the retreat. Bacon Jack does get a trade kill, but now Zonda is down, and Bacon Jack getting pressured. Yeah, ouch indeed, as they cut off the retreat here. DeToNator, like I said, they're being made to fight for every inch, but they're winning the fights and getting the inches, and they're about to get a second point through.
And this is incredible from DeToNator. They're not even stopping. They're still managing to get kills off the back of all these fights. I don't see any way for Flashwolves to commit to this. They can't defend the second cap. They're going to have to give it up. They're going to have to set up for third extremely early, and DeToNator actually breaking through on record time.
There is a lot of time left for them here as well. I mean, as much as Flashwolves, they want to continually fight in case they're able to swing it back around. DeToNator aren't backing down from that, man. They are willing to do the same. They're matching them blow for blow. And half the time, they're swinging harder punches. Yoshiharu up on this high ground is just keeping K-Momo busy while the cart moves. The rest of the team gets into position. Samurai D gets slept but woken straight back up on the backside as it forces the tanks to come back. Anakin is already ready on the backside of K-Momo. Jongi goes down, and that's a good way to start it. Ooh, barely slipping into cover there as Samurai D as Yoshiharu able to get his own self-destruct in just a moment. Zonda is able to get some necessary kills through onto the healers, but they trade back. This is still looking all right for DeToNator, but they are finally getting beaten back now as Bacon Jack gets a couple through.
Yeah, and this is exactly where Flash Wolves are going to be able to hold, similar to where DeToNator held. DeToNator had a really hard time across all stages until they got to the third cap. That's when they got their first fight win, and probably also their last fight win for Flash Wolves. So I believe they can actually stabilize here. This is going to be the most difficult area for DeToNator to actually navigate, but they have a lot of ultimates. This is going to be the big fight. If they can't get it in this fight, I think they're going to get held out.
I can't help but agree with you there, and Anakin is going deep with this one with the nano boost as well, and they really commit everything for it, and all that happens is they lose Dotlov, and then they lose Anakin, who just finds himself a little bit too deep. Saihari still going to try and keep it alive as he finds Zonda, and they might as well commit to it, but Jongi is going to be able to stall them up so long with his ultimate. The pulse bomb from Saihari doesn't really find anything in particular. Doesn't even find adequate damage. Jongi able to pick out the Lave as well. He's not really being answered either. He's just kind of running rampant now. Oh dear. The mech gets decked, I suppose.
And that was painful. Like I said, DeToNator, that was the fight they needed to win. If they can't win off that fight, they're not going to, I don't think they're really going to get it. Anakin going down super early as well. So, I mean, yeah, he did swap. They got 7 kills in that last fight because they still catch Anakin at the top of this next fight. So I heard they going onto the soldier as well. In fact, a massive change up now for DeToNator. If they couldn't do it in 5 ultimates, I don't see how they're going to do it for the rest of the game because now Flash Wolves are ahead and they're looking to keep that lead going. That
was rough because Anakin was actually sat there waiting for his team to regroup. And then Flash Wolves founds him and kills him. So it doesn't even matter. Now the team has to wait for him to regroup. He is there now as Flash Wolves go for the aggressive commit. Zonda with this nano... blade is the second half of that phrase. They do find Samurai D off it, which is something, but they've lost K-Momo's mech, so they do need to convert some more off this, or it could go pear-shaped. But there we go. Bacon Jack, the master of conversions.
Gotta be careful. If he gets hooked, it's really bad. So that's one thing about Zonda.
Oh no, he's separating them.
Punish.
There we go.
Like I said, if you get hooked right there, it's really unfortunate.
What he was trying to do was separate him off so that Bacon Jack could wrap around the other side, but yeah, it was high risk, high reward, and he got totally punished for it.
Good play by Anakin. They need to make use of that time, and Zonda will respawn definitely well within time to actually rejoin the fight. Still the ultimate lead for Flash Wolves, and like I said, the only time DeToNator were going to get ahead was their 5 ultimate fight. If they can't get that, I don't know what they're going to do now.
Pulse Bomb connects onto Samurai D as well, deals a ton of damage.
Ouch.
And play the game. It just happened.
And Anakin's still sitting on the nano. Now, this worked against Sun Sister, and with the nano boost onto Anakin, they pushed on through. It's not going to work against Flash Wolves. Yeah, you live because you got the nano boost, and you took 50% less damage from the self-destruct. Everyone else in your team took the full blunt of that bro.
This is so rough, honestly. Flash Wolves just had this one on lockdown. It's like they are now playing a little bit more cleanly. They're maximizing their...
Everything.
It's just everything. Like they're just, it's that extra like 10% that they just had that other teams don't. They've just sort of switched it back on. Bacon Jack already finds the Lave on the backside. Jongi is going to be able to get out with his life. Drive now for Zonda as he finds Saihari, then Dotlov. Good charge in, but it doesn't even kill him as he slices up Samurai D2. The whole hog is not enough. Yoshiharu takes a dive as Anakin dies. DeToNator going to be held up almost completely here. 15 seconds left.
Yep, and that's not a lot of time to work with. They're going to have to jump straight onto the cap. Saihari still looking to use attack visor. Somebody has to just dive for the point now in the Flash Wolves.
Bacon Jack's going to cut him off
with enough ultimates. That's a big kill.
Yeah, Jongi did dive in, and DeToNator did at least kill him, but in that dive, they were able to cut off the marching column of DeToNator, who now get cleaned up, barely even touching the payload as Yoshiharu, and the only one to do so. Mech is gone, pilot is gone as well. That's a hold.
The passengers are gone, the entire plane is missing. DeToNator 707, unfortunately, not going to land at the destination at the end of King's Row. Flight delayed.
Flight delayed.
That was difficult to watch because to be fair, DeToNator had a lot of good moments.
This is your captain speaking. We've encountered some turbulence and it's not looking good. If you have pen and paper on you, do begin writing your wills.
Wow, that was rather...
I call it. It was play of the game.
I mean, like...
And then he immediately lost the mech as well.
when divas get a triple kill, that things happen. Things happen.
Koreans with exploding mechs. You should see the bars I go to.
I don't even know anymore. I do want to commend DeToNator for their ability to break past the initial defense from Flash Wolves, and that was something that, by the way, Flash Wolves are well prepared. They do it on Icon. They did it on Icon World against Hong Kong Attitude, and it worked for the most part. Hong Kong Attitude eventually break fast. They do it against Fireball, impenetrable. So I mean, it is a defense. It's not something they pull out like, oh, here's a Xayah Hanzo combo kind of thing. It's like, this is an actual strategy that has been proven to work, and actually we do practice it, and then DeToNator broke past. Without using Hanzo Xayah.
Yes, that's the thing. You're completely right. Like, teams have failed to break it, and this team did, and it was done well. Yeah, like a bad steak.
No.
It was well done.
I mean, some people like that. Don't.
No, it's bad.
Speak for yourself. I'm
Speak
a medium.
for everyone.
I'm a medium rare guy. But
Yeah,
someone
that's
else,
fine.
someone out there likes well done. I'm gonna.
That person is wrong.
I want to talk about the right at the end as well, because the moment where DeToNator capped on through on the second, and by the way, their streets phase was fairly, I would say fairly one-sided for them. They had a really good run through on the streets. When they got to the third cap, they had 5 ultimates against what was, I believe, about 1 or 2. That was their best fight. And I said if they couldn't win it on that fight, they were never going to win it at all, and they were just going to get capped up.
And what happened is consistently throughout that, and even when they're actually over-aggressing, but consistently throughout that game, Flash Wolves were acting first, always. They were the first to go in. They were the ones dictating when fights happen and where. When DeToNator had that 5 ultimate fight, Flash Wolves dove first. They made the proactive play, the proactive move, and they got an early kill because of it. And then it didn't matter that there were those ults, because suddenly DeToNator were in disarray. They'd lost a healer. They didn't have the right positioning to execute anyway, even if they'd had all their members, and they were already at a numerical disadvantage. The ultimates aren't going to save you then. And even then, you don't want ultimates to save you, right? You want ultimates to win you a fight because you were the team being proactive. You don't want to use 5 ultimates to 1 to save you.
And that's the thing. Not only did they use 5 ultimates to 1 and it didn't save them, I mean, it didn't win them, but it also didn't save them. Yeah. So the minimum would be that it saves you, you just scrape on through, right?
Yeah, hopefully, maybe.
The expected result is that you just flatten the other team, because 5 ultimates to 1 is a very big advantage, and you should, by all means, I mean, that is not a fight you should be losing. I mean, economically, you've just thrown everything out the door. I mean,
and to go from breaking the first point against Flash Wolves with that strategy that's worked well against other teams before, to then just like straight up not win a fight that by rights you should win because you failed to execute, is this huge peak and trough gap, right? You know, there's the peak of we executed right, we broke the point, and the trough of we executed wrong and we got completely held up and we didn't get a chance to go to time bank.
All right, we're going to head into a replay now. This is going to be on
this was that attack.
DeToNator's original attack against...
Oh, no, actually, sorry, this is their defense. Never mind. There's no Orisa.
No, you're right. This is there's no Orisa, so this is, I believe, Flash Wolves' original attack then. So DeToNator losing Anakin quite early, and that's what I'm talking about. Zonda assaulted the high ground by himself. He gets the kill into Anakin, then he gets out alive. Meanwhile, Bacon Jake on the ground won the ground battle. He should be picking up a kill at sort of any moment now. And then he gets the pulse bomb, doesn't even have to use it. I mean, so I kind of explained this as you have 2 DPS players, one just solos the top floor and one solos the ground level, and at no point did DeToNator look like they had an option otherwise.
And there was this really awkward thing that happened in there as well. When Yoshiharu got forced onto the low ground, Jongi immediately went back up to there. He got slept, which was good from the perspective of Dotlov keeping himself alive, but it didn't matter because it's not like they could kill him. And what it meant is, sure, Dotlov had saved himself, but then he had to spend all this time repositioning for when Jongi woke up, and that was in time where he didn't have any sightlines to anyone at all. Didn't have sightlines to Yoshiharu, who was stuck on the ground, didn't have sightlines to Saihate, who was also getting pressured, and then Jongi woke up, came back around to the rest of the corridor, finds Dotlov and Saihate, who now have no tanks who can come up and help them, and it's just easy pickings.
Yeah, very difficult situation for DeToNator, and the complete opposite of how they handled then their attack. I mean, both teams had what I would say a great attack in the first cap and a very poor defense.
Yeah, I think that's a completely fair assessment. On the whole, I feel DeToNators was a little poorer because they got a bit too split up here, though, is how
Speaking of that.
Flashwolves, this is how Flashwolves defense failed. So what this actually was just good execution by DeToNator. They did lose Dotlov, but it was just a fluke. They were still able to commit to the dive, and they went for the members here. You see how they're fighting on the back side of this one? The turret's a non-factor. Orisa can't position the shield to deal with all this. Doesn't have self-heal. Sinclair was already dead because it was the first person to get picked. There's no one to heal Orisa, who is just suddenly the sitting duck with a huge head hitbox, and all of these members of DeToNator were running rampant on the back line. Bacon Jack was...
Should be a Molten Core here.
Yeah, Bacon Jack was just running in circles around this fight. There was a Molten Core, but Realmont was never able to get another turret back up anyway, because honestly, DeToNator were actually pressuring Flashwolves really, really hard in that position, and that is how you can beat the Orisa. Orisa wants to kite. She wants to disengage. She doesn't actually want to stand and fight the same way that a Reinhardt might. So if you can get her into that position where she can't retreat because you're also cutting off the retreat path, and she can't go the other way because, hey, you're right in front of her, she's sitting there going like, where do I even put the shield? What do I even shoot at? What am I doing here? Who am I right-clicking? Who am I trying to displace? Because it's this absolute chaos. And it's not that, you know, DeToNator are accidentally creating chaos and it happened to work. It's they go in, they are fast, they are mobile, they are direct, and they're committed. And that was all the difference. It was that confidence to be proactive, even when they just lost their healer. And it was that proactivity that they lacked on that 5 Ultimate fight.
I kind of describe the Orisa Torbjorn defense as kind of like a traditional battle tank. The front armor is the strongest, the rear armor is the weakest. And so the way
the tank can't turn around quickly.
Which is also true. And so the way you beat the Orisa Torbjorn defense is you get the flank on, you attack from multiple angles at the same time, but particularly if you're attacking from the rear, suddenly that opens up the real weak side of that defense, which is kind of what you're saying. Orisa can't shield every direction at the same time. It's not like a Reinhardt, and so you're kind of stuck in this position where you just you're just kind of, you don't know where to look anymore, and it becomes a very difficult situation to defend. And now one more map remaining for Flashwolves. They're nearly there, 2-0, and what could be our final map of the inaugural season. I mean, the final season, the final map, it could all finish here, and we're going to find out what that is right after this break. Thank you for sticking with us through that break as we're about to head into map number 3 of Flashwolves versus DeToNator.GOLD in the final match of the first season of the OPC. It's going to be Assault, and it could all end with this.
It absolutely could. I mean, Flashwolves, they're already 2-0 up. They are a decent assault team as well. But I tell you what, we're going to Volskaya. Maybe, just maybe, DeToNator can do this. I feel like this is a brave and bold Flashwolves.
No, it's not, because Flashwolves are very favored on Volskaya as well.
They are.
have
Okay, sure,
probably the best Sombra defense I've seen in the tournament. At the same time, it's a good way for DeToNator to test how good their one is versus the team that really set the standard. And secondly, for Flashwolves to say, let's show you how it's done.
Here you go. Take notes. And this is your captain speaking. If you have a pen and paper, take notes, kids. Just starts doing tricks with the plane.
Wow.
It's like, take it, strap in and take notes, kiddos. Like, this is how you fly.
A 360 spin.
No. But he's a captain, so be like,
in the cup holders.
This is called a barrel roll. Looking to execute this maneuver about 40,000 feet as captain.
Have you ever noticed they do that? I love that when you get on the plane, they're like, they go like,
welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking.
it's like, if you don't know what you're gonna say, don't start talking. Like, and it's like, that's your job. You do that every day. You'd think they'd have that spiel down. Like they wouldn't need all that nonsense. They're like, this is your captain speaking. I'm gonna fly this plane. This is where we're going. This is how we're gonna fly it. No brain farts, no buffers. But then, I don't know what it is about captains and pausing, because it's all of them across the whole industry. I caught a plane. I got a plane to South America on Aerolíneas Argentinas. So the captain was Spanish, and he legit starts like, pues, yo soy, It's like, come on, guy. Like, everyone globally does the same. And I could tell he was speaking Spanish, but I knew he was saying, this is, your captain, speaking. Come on, man. Come on.
I don't even know how to follow that up. I got no idea how to follow that up. I'm sorry.
Well, we're catching a plane to somewhere deep in Siberia.
You're now arriving in Volskaya.
You're now landing in Volskaya. Weather is fair. Bit ice on the runway, so
Very cold.
gonna be a bit of a long run for the touchdown, but should be pretty clear coming in. No turbulence, and runway is clear.
Lots of big robots.
Hope we have a safe landing.
Lots of big robots.
Lots of big robots. If you look to your left, you can see a large dancing robot.
I want to see that again.
I want to see what happened to that dancing robot that we saw once and never again.
I'd go and buy my private Volskaya game and just watch, just stare at this one robot to see. Come on, just do it.
Will we do it again?
How do I make you dance? Like,
I've never been so confused.
where do I put the quarter in? How do I make you dance?
That's the thing. Because I've literally never seen it again. Not here, not in my own games that I've played, not on Reddit, not anywhere at all. I don't know how it was done. Like, I don't know if it was extremely rare or like somehow maybe the production was able to I don't know, code that in. Like, I don't know. I don't understand what happened there. And I feel like I'm just never gonna get answers. Like, I feel like maybe it just didn't happen. Like, I'm starting to question myself. Like,
I got video footage that says it happened.
It's like, did it? That's the thing. If it weren't for that video footage on your Twitter, I would have serious doubts as to whether it happened at all because I was very sleep deprived.
I like to think that each map has a bit of a.
Come on. This is the robot. You guys can't see it, but we.
Yes,
come on.
It's exactly this guy. It is exactly this guy.
But he's not doing it. He's not dancing.
He's like, I don't want to do it if someone's watching.
Can't do it while you're looking.
Turn around and then. I think it's that exact guy. All three of these guys look the same, so I don't know though.
I feel racist, but I can't tell them apart.
Oh my god. Oh, there's even a fourth one in the background I didn't even realize.
But none of them are dancing.
I want them to do it synchronized.
Oh my goodness, there's so many of them.
So the cameraman's actually looking. The cameraman's specifically searching as well.
He's trying to find the robot.
One of those guys will do it.
But here's the thing, right? In this city, they've just got like giant robots just casually walking around and everyone's like, yeah, this is fine.
Why not? Why not in the robot production facility?
That was our last chance to see the dancing robot in the regular season, and we didn't. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be frank.
And Volskaya is not a super popular assault map either. We usually see Anubis, and if not, a lot of teams like to go to Hanamura, so you don't get a lot of chances to see that.
The teams that don't like Sombra go to Hanamura. But speaking of Sombra, yeah, this is single on their defense, and like you said, Sombra defense for Flash Wolves is always so great. DeToNator are trying to be very quick to shut it down, but they are struggling to get themselves into this room.
Yeah, you usually see it with the Soldier on Zonda, but actually Zonda's been opting to play Genji basically the entire night.
Yeah. And I do actually like that they're doing this. Good catch onto Jongi, but I don't know if DeToNator really had the legs for this fight because Bacon Jack is kind of here to cut off the retreat path, and he's just really harassing them, making it difficult for them to really contest this room. They're not getting too much mileage yet for this EMP. It's taking a bit longer than usual, but they're not exactly getting their ends anyway. Like, it's just time being spent by both teams.
Well, there's the final kill. It actually comes up to Zonda. It actually gets traded on the other side.
And now K-Momo.
EMP's available now.
Yeah, and it's probably a bit too late. They're going to have to commit it anyway, and maybe between Sinclair and Jongi they can convert all these skills, but it's a tough ask, especially when Sayhate sticks a pulse bomb. And Flash Wolves, because that window was extended phenomenally wide, DeToNator are able to actually get the fight through before the pulse bomb, the EMP rather, comes through. And then when it did come through, there was just no one there for Flash Wolves to follow it up.
That was well played by DeToNator. I actually think Flash Wolves are super patient, far too patient. They let DeToNator get so much from DeToNator, found the kill they were looking for. Then Sayhate just went off, and I'm super critical of Sayhate's Tracer, and I might just have to kind of reassess that because that was super impressive.
Oh, Amakin getting aggressed upon though. He does keep himself alive. Bacon Jack though. Jeez, excuse me, catching Donald alive. Bacon Jack. It's like it was a secret, like Bacon Jack. But in any case, DeToNator are getting beaten back. That's what's happening.
Good rhyme, I like that.
They're actually getting themselves on the point. They're going to get a third out here if Flash Wolves aren't careful. But K-Momo does commit, throws out the self-destruct as well. This is going to force DeToNator back. Ouch. And even gets kills, why not? Yoshiharu again, he's really quick to respond with his own, but that doesn't create space for you. It doesn't get the space back. It just means the enemy team can't have it either. That doesn't do anything for you.
I'm going to say DeToNator played their first cap really well. Now they're sort of in the same position that they were in King's Row, which is you had a good run in the first cap, you did the streaks phase properly, and this map that. There's no streets phase. You just go to the final cap. But that's actually where Flash Wolves are really good at stabilizing. We saw it on King's Row already. Now you might see it on Volskaya again. DeToNator, they need to find an opening. This might be it.
Hopefully, but you can't go for the Diva first, and you can't spend half your time deflecting. Now he's trying to get onto Realman. He does get him, but he doesn't actually kill the turret. Yeah, he does need health, and now he's getting aggressed upon by Jongi. He's not going to get out of that one alive, and the rest of the team gets cleaned up behind him anyway. Oh dear.
And that's the kind of EMP play that you want to see out of Flash Wolves, rather. They able to sort of, yeah, the kill went over to Anakin, but after that, he couldn't really get anything done. In fact, he says, I'm not going to get much done on the Genji in general. I will now change onto the Soldier. No Roadhog, no massive change-ups for the entire team. And there's a mobile turret.
I was like, when he killed Realman, I was like, okay, he's killed Realman, but he hasn't killed the turret. Like, where is it?
Yeah,
I found out. I haven't seen that since like Bastion in the beta, where like people would sit on that moving platform. Good sticky by Saihari finds Jongi, but unfortunately Bacon Jack able to dive out Dodlov means it's going to be a little bit hard for DeToNator to commit, and unfortunately Samurai D off the side as well. So even with those kills coming through into Jongi and Zonda, they actually can't really commit to this. Their members are too low, they're lacking the healer, and if they did try and go for the point, they'd just find themselves throwing themselves into the respawn advantage of Flash Wolves.
They need to play for a position where they actually have an advantage here, because so far they haven't found. They've just been even with Flash Wolves across the board. And Flash Wolves, they now have the EMP back again. So first of all, they got to get past the EMP or actually nullify the effects, play when the EMP's down, or play extremely quickly and get a bunch of kills so that EMP isn't that effective. And DeToNator aren't able to find a position where they can have a big advantage, because they keep getting picked.
Yeah, once again. And this is now Flash Wolves getting rewarded for their aggressive play, and much like what seemed to be happening a bit, not on King's Row, but, well, that's the other one. We went to Lijiang Tower. There we go. You know what? Yeah, on Lijiang Tower, it was a lot of the same thing. Like, they were getting surprised by Flash Wolves' aggressive play. They were getting caught out by it a lot.
I'm actually I'm liking the Sombra pick from Dolof here on DeToNator, because one of the ways you can beat Flash Wolves, and we do see this on Temple of Anubis, you play the counter Sombra, but specifically for Volskaya here, it's not really a map-specific thing, but it's a compositional specific thing. So Flash Wolves are running Realment on the Torbjorn. There's going to be a turret. You're going to shut down that turret with your own EMP, which is really important.
You also shut down K-Momo, and that's really significant because the defense matrix can provide so much. It allows you to get something more with the tactical visor. Here we go, EMP out onto DeToNator. They get the catch onto Sinclair though, so they haven't really converted anything. Wow. The ultimates were there for Flash Wolves, they haven't committed them. They were waiting to get a frag through first, and they do actually get it on Saihari. So now once again, DeToNator probably can't continue to commit, which is a little unfortunate.
It was, because the EMP came through, Sinclair paid for it with his life. No one from Flash Wolves really took advantage of it. Maybe Bacon Jack, because he got the kill to Saihari, and then DeToNator said, well, we can't commit anymore.
The other thing that was unfortunate is they didn't draw any ultimates out. What they're kind of waiting for now is Dotlov to have his EMP up as well, and then they're just going to be going into a 6 ultimates versus 6 ultimates fight.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I believe DeToNator should have just gone anyway. You kill Sinclair, you got rid of his EMP, just play the fight, force the ultimates out of Flash Wolves, because they would have been pressured to do so.
You don't have to use your own.
Exactly. You don't even ult, you don't EMP, you don't do anything. In fact, you charge your EMP during that fight, then you come back with that big advantage. Just like I said, this is the way DeToNator have to be able to try and win this game. A 6 versus 6 ultimate, I don't see them winning that.
All right, well, here's what we're going to be coming to anyway. Actually, Bacon Jack doesn't have his 6 versus 5 as soon as Dodlov gets his up, but he's not got it just yet. Neither does Sinclair. Saihari's down. This is not a good start. Dodlov could commit now, but I want to see these guys hold it. But Samurai D's committed already. Dodlov goes down.
Man.
Losing Saihari should have just flagged the retreat. And oh, man. That was rough. They at least drew out Zonda's Dragon Blade and Realman's whole core. The whole core. It's like when he eats an apple, he has the whole core. Yeah. His molten core.
Molten hog.
Molten hog. You should see the bars. Scary. You should see the bars I go to.
I don't even want to know what that kind of ultimate looks like, but point in case here is that DeToNator have now finally charged the ultimate, still looking for an opportunity, and Sinclair's got his one already. Now this is the opportunity. Now you got to go commit everything, give the EMP in there.
Here we go. Look at this setup by Amakin to get up onto this high ground here, and there we go. They can commit into this one. They catch Dotlov out though, unfortunately out of the mech, and K-Momo with the self-destruct. Dotlov gone down before that. It's just, oh, it was all there. I'm heartbroken.
It was all there, and the first time that DeToNator tried to push on through, K-Momo got the double kill with the self-destruct. This time again, the double kill with the self-destruct.
Shame on me if you fooled me twice.
Well, I mean, at the same time, K-Momo is able to time these so well that DeToNator are sort of in a position where it's either difficult for them to avoid it or, I mean, they just have to scatter anyway, in which case they just lose so much ground. Flash Wolves didn't even have to use the EMP. Now DeToNator feel like they have to change something up, and it is going to be the Anakin Hog.
I do actually agree with this. They've swapped because they know they don't have time for a setup play anymore, which is what Sombra is. They just have to go in for picks.
Pretty much, and if they can get a good sleep dart, get a good hook, this is still a composition which really excels at potentially picking out individual members.
That's the EMP as well, but K-Momo goes down. They haven't converted. Oh,
play of the game.
Bong me sideways with a fish fork.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Bacon Jack just he just bacon jacked all over DeToNator. That's how it ended.
That is so tough. I mean, super impressive because super impressive, but ouch. That is one way to go down.
I mean, look, getting repelled on all those other fights we are trying to set up, look, that's one thing. I mean, that's just Flash Wolves are a good team. It's always hard to break that second point anyway. Getting repelled when you did have that 6 ultimate fight, and you had, well, not even that, it was actually a 6 versus 5 ultimate fight because Bacon Jack had committed his pulse bomb. Then you picked Sinclair. Losing that fight to K-Momo's make, that's another thing. That's equally as heartbreaking. Then having to change your comp because you can only win a fight by getting a good pick and still having to commit to it anyway, and dying because Bacon Jack stuck 3 of you. That is like the lowest possible moment for you as a team. That is probably the roughest way to lose that map.
And I think the most important fight was still
come on, dance me.
Wow, you didn't feed the quarter into the machine. That's why you didn't get the dance. But the most important fight
he
was...
knows it. He's shaking the camera, you're like, come on!
The most important fight was the one where they got the kill into Sinclair after he committed the EMP, and then they sort of did nothing with that space. They lost Harte. They should have still committed because they would have drawn ultimates out of the Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves would have felt pressure in that scenario. Then they could have come back with a massive advantage and an EMP of their own. That would have been the winning fight, or at least a very good fight where they can get 1/3, maybe even 2/3, set themselves up for a victory with only a small percentage to cap on through.
Just for clarification for those at home who have no idea what we're talking about when we say Bung Mi, that's Korean, I believe? Yeah, and it like basically means like give me the Ana boost. So if you're ever playing in a game with Koreans and they're playing Ana, you say Bung Mi, that means give me your ultimate.
And also, if you hear them say it very aggressively and all the time, it's not an insult.
Yeah. They're not exasperated. They just want help. And also, if they ask where you're from and you say kangaroo, they will know. They will understand. But here we go now. Flash Wolves on the attack. Let's see how quickly they can break this because it's an Orisa defense.
DeToNator are running something that is definitely something. I've not seen this out of them. They have never run a Torbjorn Orisa with the Sombra at the same time. It's kind of like, yeah, do you want to play an Overwatch game where all the most underutilized heroes get to be played all at the same time?
Why not? Realman's on this Mercy as well. They're valuing the tempo res. So
Delaver's even on the Tracer. We haven't seen that in a long time.
You know what I also haven't seen? I've never seen a Mercy get hit by an EMP. Like, can you still heal?
Yeah, you can still heal.
I would assume so,
you can
it's
still
just
heal.
your left click.
It's only your ability, so you can't fly and you can't res.
It's not too bad then, actually. The heal is
some heroes do well during EMP.
Like Reaper. He's alright.
Yeah.
Because repositioning is already useless.
I am actually interested into why they're running the Mercy. It is a little bit different as well, so...
EMP out. Here we go now, this is the fight, and already they've popped the mech from Yoshiharu, so they're actually still doing this, but Realman goes down, so they're struggling a little bit, don't have all that much healing. Jongi getting pressured out as well, and DeToNator do kind of hold themselves steady through that and start closing it out.
Nice
Good
stick.
sticky. Yeah, it actually didn't quite stick onto Samurai D. It did at least take down the turret, and based off that, they're actually starting to kind of turn it back around a little bit. They do need to deal with Samurai D. They haven't actually broken this room itself, but they're in a position now where they can kind of set themselves on the point and force DeToNator to come out of the room.
I actually do want to mention they did get a stick on Samurai D, but because he fortified, he only took 50% damage from the pulse bomb, which is why he didn't die.
That would make sense. Very well timed from Samurai D. They have actually kept a third through here. Oh no, not quite. Have they? It looks like they have, but it's not. This
is surprisingly difficult for Flash Wolves to break through, and they actually have a res to play with, so I wonder when and where they're going to commit the res. I've said previously about the Torbjorn Orisa defense and that, like a battle tank, you got to hit it from the rear, you have to get the flank and that's something Flash Wolves need to be focusing on.
And the hard thing with the Res as well is if you just Res back up in front of the Tourbillon turret, it just gets plenty of time to rip you to shreds. Like, you don't get to set up while he's setting up. It's so telegraphed.
Oh,
so,
look at the ults.
Yeah, this is so huge. They go for the dive. I expect things to come down. Here we go. It's the bongo drums first and the molten core as well. So Hardy's getting pressured down here, but they're trading back. Here we go. Sound barrier was used as well. Res is not available though. Realman was crucially picked off at the top of the fight. That is great target selection by Saihari. And just based off that, as much as that was looking good for Flash Wolves, they aren't able to continue the fight. But DeToNator did use just about all their ultimates.
And they dropped the Mercy as well. So Realman changes back onto Lucio. Didn't even get the res in there. Super unfortunate. There was no moment. I mean, Realman just died with the res in the hand, and the rest of his team just wiped as well. He spent all this time playing a pick, not even utilizing the ultimate, goes back onto Lucio, and they're still running out of ultimates. They're running out of time as well.
Rest and pepperonis. They're going to have to go for this dive one last time here. They can't just play this thing where they try and force DeToNator out of the room. DeToNator are happy in the room. Jonky, good hold
I like
there.
the room.
That's a good sticky. Gets the turret at least. Now they have an opening. Delave goes wide with his own pulse bomb. They are able to close him out as well. Amiken's in for the EMP. There it goes. Self-destruct in the room as well. K-Momo does find something with it. It's only the turret. Bacon Jack's out. Zonda getting pressured. Ooh, he's able to just barely stay alive. So they can kind of keep themselves going in this fight. Good catch onto Amiken. That's the one they need to start opening this one up. And so Hardy, without the molten core and without the turret available, is just a sitting duck here. Desperately tries to put it down. No such luck. And Flash Wolves have finally broken point one.
And DeToNator, they just struggled to get anything out of the EMP. This is kind of... It almost seems like Flash Wolves, as soon as they changed off the Mercy, they went back onto their normal picks again. Realman on the Lucio, they didn't have that much ults to work with, but because they played around the EMP quite well, and Zonda, with the Dragon Blade, picks up a couple of crucial kills within the sort of lockdown area that DeToNator were trying to hold. I mean, that's all they needed to break on through. Now it's time for the second cap, and they only need
Speaking of
one
ults to work with, that's the Transcendence, the only one they have, but they've already caught Dodlov anyway. They get Samurai D as well, and you're right, they only need to get 1/3 as they pressure out Saihari. There is no EMP to try and swing this one back, and all they've got in response so far is K-Momo's mech. Yoshiharu has to get a huge self-destruct here, but he's not really going to be able to find anyone. They've still found delay, but now Zonda has this Dragon Blade to cut off anyone who's trying to get to this point. Quite literally, in fact, as Yoshiharu loses the mech, the Diva pilot as well is going to go down. Had to put the sword away first. He is a gentleman, and now the rest of DeToNator trickling onto this point. It's just going to be the healers and Amiken here. They aren't going to be able to contest. Bacon Jack has this one on lockdown.
EMP.
Pulse Bomb still available. No one has traded back a single kill, not even onto Sinkler, who is this low, and K-Momo went down, sure, but he rejoined the fight. The Pulse Bomb just cuts off some reinforcements. DeToNator are dragging this out. They are going for broke here because they have to. But now Flash Wolves have more ults than when they started the fight. The self-destruct zones them off. Oh, it's so close. It's so down to the wire. And there's only one member. It's just Dodlov. Now no one's on the point. And it's all over. That is it. That is how we close it out. Flash Wolves cap the third through, and the regular season is done.
3-0. They keep the scoreline going. They keep the record going. Who and when is it going to get broken? We're going to have to wait until the finals to get the answer to that question, because Flash Wolves now walk into that still without having dropped a single map since the 4th week of the competition.
That is so massive. And now they get to sit back and watch as Blank and AHQ play each other in the semis. They get to study up. They will know who they are facing in the final.
What is this play of the game?
It took me a minute to realize what was happening on screen. It's just, you know, when the Tourbillon dies and the turret still does all this damage. But anyway.
That's one of those beta play of the game. Yeah.
Beta, you actually just said beta. But yeah, so there's Flash Wolves. They're going to be able to study up on the semi-final. They're going to be able to know exactly what they're going to be coming up against in the finals itself. They're going to have so much information. Meanwhile, those two teams in the semis, first they have to prep for each other, and then they have to prep for Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves get double the time to prep for half the number of teams with more information. They have it all.
And a bag of chips, I don't even know. And they still get to, I mean, it's now coming down to which team is going to be the one to face them. That's going to be an exciting series to find out. AHQ kind of look like on the back foot here. Blank are looking definitely a lot better. I'm actually going to recap this quite quickly in terms of the Flash Wolves DeToNator game. 3-0 still. Volskaya, at the end of the day, DeToNator's final performance. So send off for this team. Like Sun Sister, they will be heading into the relegations. Now, what can we say about DeToNator in terms of their strengths moving forward? Well, actually, I feel like they had a decent showing against Flash Wolves, all in all, everything considered. Even on Volskaya, that Tourbillon Orisa defense with the Sombra, it lasted for a very long time.
Yeah. It was actually clever. It worked. It was solid. It was honestly quite commendable. I like it, and I want to see them pull it out again. They are actually not too bad at that Sombra defense. It was a little bit different to what they pulled out against Sun Sister, where they were able to hold them a lot more convincingly on Volskaya, but when all said and done, it was still good, and it nearly did work. But you're right, the 3-0 is eventually what happened, eventually what came of that. And yeah, DeToNator, they will be heading into relegations. Meanwhile, Flash Wolves will be heading into playoffs. Two very stark different things for these two teams. And to kind of touch on that playoffs format as well. So both the semis and the finals happening across the next 2 weeks are a best of 3 of best of 7. So each day...
Wrap your mind around that.
Yeah, exactly. Each day is a potential best of 7. So the semifinals next weekend, if one of the teams 2-0s, there are no matches on Sunday because the best of 3 is over, but you have to win a best of 7, then another best of 7 to close out that series. And then you have to go and play Flash Wolves and do it again. Now, can Flash Wolves themselves maintain that undefeated map record throughout that? I don't know. I don't think so. It's a lot of maps. It would be an extremely big ask. But
eight map wins in a row.
But yeah, but that's the thing. They've actually done just that over the course, and more over the course of this regular season here. You said it yourself. Haven't actually dropped a map since week 4, and they've only once dropped a map in a series they won. The only other time
that was versus HKA.
Yeah, the only other times they've dropped maps has been because they have just lost the series. So when they win hard, they win big, and this is actually seriously looking like a team that could 4-0 twice to create that 2-0 in the finals.
Now, the other thing to really consider for that is the way the home and away system works. So the seeds are determined 1, 2, and 3. Flash Wolves are going to finish up number 1. That means they get a direct seed into the grand finals as the home team for that. And then the second seed is blank. They will get the home side in the semifinals against AHQ, who will get the away side instead. So blank will get day 1 home side, which means what maps 1, 3, 5, and 7 are their picks, and AHQ get the other picks. And then on day 2 of the semifinals, AHQ get the home side. If we make it to day 3, then blank get the home side again. And the same thing applies for the finals, except it's Flash Wolves in the home seat position. So as much as we talk about, look, they're looking great, they're looking invincible, massive win streak on maps. Oh yeah, on top of that, they also have home side advantage for the grand finals.
But I'll tell you what, if 11 weeks of regular season play didn't push you to your limits, didn't really put the tournament fatigue deep into your bones, then that final is going to do it. A best of 3 of best of 7s, high pressure, non-stop the whole weekend. You go home after the first day of gameplay, you're not even done. You have to get up the next day and do it again.
Sounds like a regular job.
It is really going to push these teams to their absolute limits. It's going to push them heck beyond their limits because they are already playing at their limits with how long this tournament has been. It is going to be a huge marathon effort, and none of these teams are over the line just yet. This is still a place where you can suddenly trip and fall. Your bones and muscles may just give out. You may just run out of grit and gumption and crumble.
All right, we're going to get into some of the replays now from that Volskaya match. We're going to start out, and it's going to be the, I believe, the attack from DeToNator first.
That is indeed what this is.
I believe it was a really... They were held out. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves correct, that Flash Wolves were able to hold out at least for this one defense, and it took a while for DeToNator to break on through. We're actually a little bit further in. 1 minute's already expired here, and that's right. The late EMP came out from Sinclair. Not enough members were already in. So Hafte got the 4 kills, and that was a big factor for DeToNator. So actually, I'm wrong. DeToNator pushed on through in the first cap. They just kind of did it a little bit slowly. They allowed Sinclair to get the original EMP. He used it when only 2 of his teammates were alive. And Hafte, massive string of kills, and I said, look, I've been critical of Hante's Tracer, but that was impressive.
And what also happened in that fight that hadn't been happening in a lot of other fights is normally Flash Wolves were kind of catching whatever DeToNator were doing, was sort of cutting them off if they were going for a dive. They were sort of collapsing into the backliners. They were just reading and reacting and outmaneuvering at all times. But that time, they did outmaneuver, but they didn't actually turn up the kills because DeToNator, they were kind of a little bit more prepared for it, and they just didn't give Flash Wolves that same opportunity. This now next replay here, this is now on Flash Wolves' attack, and this is where they were able to break it here. And it was actually a much tougher thing to do. Look at how long Samurai D stays in the fight. The pulse bomb only caught the turret there. That's negligible. The team is still alive. Delave going down, and this here self-destruct forcing the positioning is what really started to do it. The EMP was able to come through a little bit earlier, and they started getting some return kills through, but here's now what happens. Flash Wolves are fighting on the point. Samurai D is kind of a non-factor here and gets dove. He's stuck in the room with Saihare, and the few members of DeToNator that were on the point went down to Flash Wolves, who then dove into the room and got the big rack of kills you saw just there. So once again, Flash Wolves played this kind of divide and conquer thing. They went, look, we can't just dive in there and do a 6 versus 6 because they are entrenched. They have a Torbjorn, they have an Orisa, and we'd be fighting through an EMP. So let's not do that. Let's make them play our game. Let's draw them out. Let's split them up. Let's win one half of the fight, then the other half of the fight. And that's what they were trying to do on the defense, but DeToNator read it a little bit better. But this is part of what makes Flash Wolves so great.
All right, we're going to flip the coin back into the Jongi side of things, and he is going to get the Player of the Game award, the MVP for the match. And I kind of mentioned this on Lijiang, but when K Momo started out things on Winston, he's not a bad player, but a stark difference to what happens when Jongi gets on. As soon as Jongi got on for the second stage of Lijiang, different story.
And this is why Jongi is, by a lot of people, considered one of the best players in the tournament. Certainly the best Winston player in the tournament, if not best tank in general. And yeah, I mean, on top of that, just he is just so consistent. I don't know how else to put this. And that consistency, I mean, how many teams have had issues with their Winstons? I would say it's
just
all
tanks,
of them.
right?
Yeah, tanks in general, but you know, even specifically on Winston, one of Blank's biggest issues when they were having their loss streak was how often their Winston was dying at the wrong times and how awkward the calls were and the communication were, the commits were. Things just weren't all happening at the right times in the right places. Jongi does not make those mistakes, and he never has.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of teams have been struggling with that and trying to really get themselves into a state where they're very comfortable. Now, what's interesting is in one of the Flash Wolves interviews, they noted that one of the good dynamics about AHQ that a lot of teams don't have is Lazy Titan and Erican worked well together because Erican still plays a reasonable amount of Reinhardt. And so they like to combo up the self-destruct with a lot of Erican's plays with the Earth Shadow and stuff like that. That's not something that Flash Wolves typically do. So actually it came from K Momo, I believe, who was interviewed, and the question was, who do you really look at in the tournament as a target? And he said, Lazy Titan. He gets really good self-destructs. I don't get as many good self-destructs, but a lot of his are comboed well with his tank. I don't get that luxury from mine.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we actually kind of touch on with Lazy Titan is there are two good things a D.Va can do with an ultimate. One is get a bunch of kills. The other is force the enemy team's hand in terms of where they can and can't stand if they don't want to die. Lazy Titan does both. And he does it all the time. And part of it is the setup. You're completely right. But the other part is just good timing. Good selection.
Placement.
Yeah, good placement, good selection. And I will say, in that game we just saw, I think K Momo is starting to really reach Lazy Titan levels. And he was doing it without that extra setup from the tank. And I think that's really saying something.
Absolutely, and actually Yoshiharu on the other side, something I noticed, particularly on the King's Row game, was K Momo would get a double kill, but Yoshiharu would get a single kill on the backside as well, so they were still trading. K Momo was getting more than Yoshiharu across the board, and that goes for, I believe, the Volskayas that we saw a couple of the self-destruct. Really important from K Momo. He shut down a decent number of DeToNator's pushes, kind of just by himself, because the 2 kills that he gets on self-destruct changes the course of the entire game.
Completely, especially when you're on, you know, second point Volskaya, and you already have defenders respawn advantage, and they've got all these ultimates, and they've got the early pick, and they're in position, and you've all been hit by an EMP, but you know what, you're K Momo, and you haven't, and you throw it out, and you place it just right, because you know where DeToNator are looking to set up.
All right, we're going to get into the post-match interview now. It's going to be with Jongi, and I'll be translating this one over into English.
好，一开始要先访问你的问题其实蛮尴尬的，因为你们今天很早就来到我们的比赛现场，然后应该是下午2点的时候吧，然后你们又是最后一场比赛才进行的，跟大家分享一下心情。
What did you guys do today?
12点半就到现场。
We got here at 12:30 p.m. until now.
前一天
about 8 hours later.
就是我们也有比赛，
可是我们
But the other day we had a match as well.
带，所以来电竞馆就是用电脑。
So we came here and we just practiced.
约团练啊，所以
Because we didn't organize scrims.
就时间就是一直没有事情做。
There's nothing else to
这
really
是你的
do.
真心话吗？
对。
打发时间。
打发时间。好，那我们知道说你们是以第1名的姿态进入到了季
So you're
后
the
赛，
first seed
那
going
近
to
期肯
finals.
定都是为了季后赛做准备。
So you've been
那
preparing for
有没有想
playoffs.
说会在季后赛特别搬出一些比较特别的阵容，比方说像
What have you been really looking at for playoffs? And have you got
阵容
particular
我们是有在
strategies?
练啊，然后之前比赛也是有看到我们出了一些很新的阵容。
So a lot of people have
占
been
卜
seeing
啊
us
欧瑞
playing new
莎啊
compositions.
这些都是我们有在练习，然后
We've
也
been
有在比
practicing
赛
those.
拿来用看，去看一下成效大概是长怎样。
And really look at
那我们
how far
之
we've
后
gone
可
with
能
that.
也是会一直用看，然后
We've been using stuff in scrims as well.
这是
就让大家拭目
对
以待，就
让大家
对了。
拭目以待一下。
好
Just really make sure that people know we're quite
那
versatile.
其实分析台有挑了一个你的 nice play，就
So
是
you're
在
the
那个
MVP?
丽江花园那个丽江天堂那
And
个
on
花园
Lijiang
的
Tower,
地图
on
里面
gardens.
应该是说有一个地方是你其实根本就看不到任何人。
So there was a
但是
place
呢
where you
你是
couldn't
用
see
你的
anyone.
喷射跳跃，然后到人家的门口把人家击退。
But then
是
you
我办到的，请大家
blindly
看一下
jumped somewhere and got a
那时候
knockoff
我
kill.
也搞不太清楚状况是怎样。
But I wasn't
但是
I
我开
wasn't
大
too
的时
sure
候
what's going
是
on.
人机一体的，所以
I
我那时候
ultimated.
凭着我自己的直觉100%就是当下看到那个感觉，我就按了。
Well, I just sort of felt the situation. I used it and I was able to find someone to get a kill.
是个经验跟直觉是吧？
对，
Is it
我
is it
玩
an
了
experience thing? He
1
says
个
yeah.
月累积的经验。
It's something you get out of
那在季后
experience
赛
to
的
read
部分，
situations
个
well.
人方面会怎么样去做准备跟练习
So？how do people get ready
就
to
跟
prepare?
平常一样团练，然后
We play a lot of
礼拜也没
scrims
休假，然后
and we don't take too many
下
breaks.
礼拜就休假了，
Next week we'll probably take a
休
break.
息一下。
没有想新的招式吗？就是要来做团练。
Have you thought?
新的招式已经够多啊，对吧？最近要练蛮多
够多了是不是
新的招式就已经蛮累的了，所以
So we've already practiced a
我
lot.
们依照一样团练去做练习，
维持平常的步调就对
对，
了
维。持平常心。
好
So
的
we just，
谢
continue
谢
to
郑局
practice
接
as
受
well.
我们的赛后访问，再次提醒大家一下，我们的季后
Alright,
赛
so
将
that
从
is
下
Zhongyi
个礼拜
from
五的晚
Flash
上
Rules.
7点开始。当然，美好的周末的最后一天呢，当然是要交给我们的。
Hopefully we'll be able to get onto the couch interview as well. It's going to be with DeToNator.
我是易先生啊，刚刚是我。那这边的话也是非常开心能请到第1天的选手来接受我们的访问，来自我介绍一下。
好，我是部长。
オスアメ県
我是多德洛夫。哇，标准。哇，来这边也是异地待久，也会学会当地。
Oh, well, it's very impressive you stayed here for a
那
while
这
and
边
learned
想问你
Chinese.
一些回顾，就是整个赛季的一些
So I want to ask you some questions about your journey in the OPC.
开头就先问一下好了，就是想问一下2位选手在 OPC 整季的比賽下来，
So in the OPC,
印象的一战是哪一战？
what's been a very memorable
今ま
moment?
で OPC リーグを通してその感想を聞かせてください。まず最初の質問なんですけど、このリーグ参加して以来一番印象に残った戦いは何でしょうか。みんなに教えてください。でまずアメケンさんから
はい。
はい。
なんでしょう。
どの試合が一
ど
番
の試合
印象に残った？
印象に残ったBL 系戦ですね、一番最初の、
はい
あれが一番印象深かったです、自分の中では。
阿妹跟选手是觉得就是第一周的第一
So
战
in the
跟
first
BLK
match
打的时候
against
他
Blank,
是觉得最印象深刻
He。felt like that was
那一战
one of our
非
best
常精彩第一
matches.
周的赛事，第1天对上 Blank 打的是非常焦
So
灼。
in that first match, it was a very exciting game.
各
The Pharaoh was very
观众
impressive.
都为之一惊，真的非常漂亮。
It was a very good
さんの
match.
ファラがすごく上手くて、みんなもう衰えた戦いですねっていう。
ありがとうございます。
そしてトテロフさんは
はい、僕はその次のフラッシュウルブズ戦が一番印象に残ってて、なんでかっていうと、最初 BLK の戦いでは、こういうテンポで戦っていけばいいんだなっていう風に自信を持っていったんですけど、そのフラッシュウルブズ戦でそのテンポの速さにびっくりしちゃって、もっともっと速いテンポがあるんだってこのリーグではっていうことを実感させられた戦いでした。
他觉得最印象深刻的是，第一周的第2战就是对
So our
闪电
second match against Flash Wolves in the
当初
first
他们
week,
在打 BLK 的时候，其实觉得以这样的
and
战
we
斗
we
速
thought
度
we
是
thought we
可以
did
在
quite well
这
against
个
Blank.
联赛中获得胜利的。
是
对他们找到一个方向，然后比较有自信了。但是第
We
2
felt
场
quite confident.
就是发现闪电
Then
狼
we
的战斗
realized
节奏完全不一样
Flash
而且
Wolves
是
were a
越来
much
越
bigger
快越来越
challenge.
快，然后他们就发现 所以是这个联赛的战斗速度是这样。
So we realize we still have a lot of work to do, and we have to still make a lot of efforts to
第
improve.
二站之后才发现说，原来还有一个层次，这样必须要是更努力。
对。
哇，那你看出来了。那我们来看，那再问第二个问题，就是想问一下，就是在整个赛季以来最有成就感的一刻。
最有成就感的一刻。
What's been
このリーグ最初から
another
最後
moment
ま
for
で
you
一
so
番
far
達
in
成
the
感を
OPC that's
感
been
じた戦いは何でしょうか。
maybe a difficult moment for you guys as well?
なんかやりましたねみたいな。
今日のフラッシュウルブズ戦じゃないですかね、僕は。
阿美健选手是说，就是他觉得最有成就感的应该是今天跟
So
闪
today
电的对
versus
战。
Flash Wolves.
なんでですか。
今までで一番チームで声出てたし、なんかやりきった感っていうものなんか最後の試合っていうのもあって、それがすごいなんか自分の中ではそう感じましたね。はい。
他觉得，因为这一站就是 OPC 的最后一站，
Because this is the
然后
last
他们
match.
可能没有到现场的人可能不知道，就是他们喊的比谁都大声。
其实观众都听到了。
哦，真的吗？
你们大声到就是
吵吗？
主播很大声到就是整个主播赛屏麦克风都吸
We
到。
thought maybe we were
真的
quite
吗？
loud.
观众在聊天，
Apparently everyone
现场是不是很多
they
人？
were very vocal and everyone heard.
我在里面也听得到。
他们6个人就变成一大群人，对，然后他们觉得就是他们有史以来最团结一心的时刻，然后他们觉得今后还需要更加努力。
So we realized after this match still we need to improve quite a lot.
防守也是令人为之一亮，非常漂亮。
ドテロフ選手。
そうですね、僕も今日が一番ですかね。もうなんかそうですね、このリーグ中ですごい嬉しい経験も辛い経験もいっぱいありましたし、その中で最後どうやってそうですね、チームの中でその結果を残さなくてでもなんかチームの中でどうやって見せれるかっていうのも考えて、やっぱり自分たちでやれる全開をフラッシュウルブズ戦で試せたので、そうですね、自分的には満足しましたかね、あの戦いで。
就是他个人也是觉得今天的
So I thought
跟
today
闪电狼的战斗，
versus
他们
Flash
就
Wolves
是已经把自己的所有都抛出去了。
We felt like we gave absolutely everything in this match.
因为在这个联赛中，他们有欢乐的时候，也有很
We've had
就是
some
很
fun
痛苦的
moments
时
and some
候
very
但是
difficult moments.
就是在这一站最后一站，
But
然
in
后
the
他们
final
必须
match
把握这样的机会，然后好好的就是做好一个队伍。最后
We really
也不
want to
算是
show
最
our
后啊
best.
就是应该做的东西，
We
然
want
后
to
跟
show
他们未来
we
做
will
一些
show
就
what
是更
we've
加努
prepared
力
and
的一个
make sure we did everything that we prepared to do.
那我也想再问一下，就是刚提到的是你们异星同体这件事情，所以好奇是说，你们觉得来参加这个联赛，就是一路从一般的玩家到了加入的是队伍，到现在来打 OPC 的联赛，就一路上你觉得在一路上
during your entire
自己有
journey
什么样的成長？就想問一下兩位選手。
選手にお聞きしたいのですが、このリーグ3
So during the journey, what is the process of the OPC been like? Has the entire experience been?
このゲームに対する自分の中にこのリーグを通じて何か成長したものがあったのでしょうか。トテロさん。
そうですね、まずなんですかね、やっぱりちょっと海外のこういうオフライン大会をこの6人で出るっていうのがまず初めてで、なんでしょうね、もう遅くなんかゲームのスピード展開を遅くてはいけない、それをみんなで6人で本当に一丸となって合わせなきゃいけないっていうことに、なんかそうですね、ちょうどいいスピードに合わせようっていう自分がそのゲームの中ででき始めてきて、誰が欠けちゃいけないし自分が置いてかれてもいけないしっていうところで、もうみんなに合わせるチームとして戦うってところを成長できたんじゃないかなっていうゲーム風に思いますね。
他觉得就是在这一次的联赛中，他们因为我们的队伍是刚组好就来打 OPC，
So our team got together very recently
终于去
to get into the
体会到这个
OPC.
游戏该有的节奏，然后必须 不要落到那个节奏外，就是你一个人被放置在那边是不对的。
没错。
We have a lot of learning experiences here in terms of individuals as well, how we should be playing the game. And we feel like we've still got a lot of room to improve after this as well.
我思索很久。
このまあリーグ、普通のプレイヤーからチーム入って、でリーグ参加して自分の中に何か成長したものあるなんでしょう。
もともとまずそのチーム的な動きとかをまず何もほとんど分からずに入って初めて出た海外の大会っていうのかな、このゲームで、っていうのもあって、なんか自分の中ではもう成長しかないって感じですかね。
他觉得就是他其实是他第一次参加队伍。
So this is our first major event
然后他接触
for myself.
然后第一次参加队伍。那这样第一次参加队伍就来国外打。
So my first major event was immediately international.
都是他有所成长的地方。
I feel like this was a very big change up for me.
非常辛苦，是都远渡重来台湾。
Feels like you've worked quite hard and you haven't returned home for a long time.
对，那想问一下，梁雄回到自己的家乡之后，最想做的事情是
So when you get back to Japan, what's the first thing you want to do? What's the thing you want to do the most?
想不到。
どっちでもいい。
お母さんのご飯が食べたいです。
他想要吃妈妈做的饭。
I want to have my mum's homemade food.
那梅肯这边。
先に言われちゃってあれなんですけど、自分も母ちゃんの飯食べたいです。
他说就是先被抢走台词了，但是他也是想要吃妈妈做的饭。
So I would also like to go home and have some homemade food.
是的。那我这边的话，想请各位跟支持你的粉丝说几句话。最近其实
Do you have any final words for your fans?
最後はファンの皆さん応援してくれた方々に何かコメントをお願いします。誰からですか？じゃんけん？
最後までいい結果は残せなかったですけど、自分たちの中ではなんか発見とかそのチームの改善点とかはこの大会を通してたくさん見つけることができたし、これからなんか改善できてないところもしていこうかなっていうふうに思えたんで、応援ありがとうございました。
就是他说，就是虽然我们在这一次的联赛并没有获得非常好的
We haven't had the best results so far in OPC.
赛事让大家看到，但是我们在此之中可以学到了很多，
But we've learned so much in this
让这个
competition.
队伍变得更加好的方法。
I think we can
今后他们还
improve a
会
lot
更加努
more,
力，希
and
望
we're going to continue playing
他们
and
在
improving.
Overwatch 这个舞台上还会发光发
We
亮。
feel like we'll return to Overwatch.
そうですね、この大会に出てみて、そうですね、未熟な姿も見せてしまったり、そうですね、ファンの方々にちょっとお見せできないようなそういうシーンとかもあったかもしれないですが、それでも応援していただいて本当にありがとうございます。でそしてこのような素晴らしい機会、大会を設けてくださった、スタッフの皆様に本当に感謝したいと思います。本当にありがとうございます。
就是非常感谢，就是支持我们的
I'm
粉
very
丝。
thankful to the
虽然
fans.
我们没有办法带给你们就是非常亮眼的成绩，
We
就是
haven't.
一张
I'm sorry we
漂亮
haven't
的
given the
成绩
best
单
results.
但是就是还是很感谢你们，
But
就是
I'm still
还有
very thankful for all
就
the
是在
support.
电竞馆的这些工作人员，然后还有暴雪
All the
的
staff
相关
here
工作人
at the
员
East Stadium,
然后让我们有这
all
样
the
的机会
organisers
参加
involved,
OPT
for giving us this opportunity to be a part of the
非常
OPC.
感谢你们。
是的，那这边是恭喜这边 DTN， 那也非常谢谢 DTN 这边是来
Thank you very much
访问那这
for
边
DeToNator.
副讲一直以来都是永远在帮队伍来做翻译，这也是很辛苦。
Thank you for
对
translating
那我们
over from
采访就要
Japanese.
告一段落了，那我们差不多这边跟观众说一下再见喽，拜拜。
There it is. And we've now wrapped up the final match of the season. Any final thoughts before we close on out tonight?
Well, DeToNator say that they're not done. They want to make it back. I kind of want to see them make it back. There's still so many questions about that, but there's no questions about Flash Wolves. They are the favorites. They are absolutely the favorites to win, even now as they get a direct seed into the grand finals. We don't know who it will be. It'll either be Blank or AHQ, but even then, it's going to be a hard order for either of those teams to beat Flash Wolves right now.
Absolutely. Now, I just want to cap off the entire scoreboard. Now, we've had a full 4 round robins. It's been a long 11 weeks. Flash Wolves going to finish that one up 25-3, Blank 22-6. Now, they had a really interesting and tough kind of run in the middle of the competition. AHQ 21-7. They had that 7-0 undefeated run in the second round robin when they looked unstoppable. Now they look like they're on a little bit of a low period. We'll see how they bounce back against Blank. Hong Kong Attitude most recently beat AHQ, beat Blank. They've been looking fantastic. They lost the 4th place spot. They got it back against Machi, who in the second round robin had such a huge resurgence. I mean, coming up from the 6th place team to reaching number 4, going to finish off the season at 14-14 Fireball. Most recently beating Hong Kong Attitude just today. I mean, this is a team that has come an exceptionally long way. Roster issues in the middle of that. Player role issues in the middle of that. They conquered it. 10-18 is their final score. In 6th place, DeToNator.GOLD 3-24. They got 3 wins off of Sun Sister. They got a map win off of AHQ. They pushed other teams, including Blank and also Flash Wolves as well. They got a lot to be proud of. And speaking of being proud of, the last team, Sun Sister, they get their map and match win. 1-27, they get one off of DeToNator.GOLD, and they will be finishing off the season with something to prove on the scoreboard.
Over the last 3 months, we have seen so many stories unfold throughout this tournament, and in a way, it's almost a little bit sad that they're all kind of coming to an end, but the best thing is soon we get to reopen the book, and we're not even done with the addendum just yet. We still had the semis and finals go ahead of us. For 3 teams, the story is not over, and we don't quite know how it'll end. And then we'll get to see them again come August and start writing a sequel.
Absolutely. So on Friday, we will begin the playoffs with Blank versus AHQ. Blank in the home spot, AHQ in the away spot. It's going to be an exciting weekend. A lot rides on that. Best of 7s all the way as well, with Flash Wolves in the King's Throne, waiting for the victor to join them in the grand final. I've been Kevin AVRL Walker. With me this evening, Matt Pixie Carroll, and earlier tonight, you had Dallas Easy Fight Titty as well as Matt Smite Ross. From everyone at the Full Circle production team, thank you. Have a very good evening. We will see you next week.